Now, I think we can go to Fir Park, perhaps to get the team news that later kick-off, 5:15 kick-off, live here on Sportsound, the second of our commentaries. And the man looking after you for that one will be Stuart Mitchell, Motherwell, Queen's Park.
Thank you, Liam. Yes, Motherwell with their home competitive opener of the season as Stuart Kettlewell looks to keep his side on that fantastic run from when he was introduced as first interim manager and then taking over permanently today. They take on Queen's Park. It'll be a difficult match. Queen's Park under the new stewardship of Robin Veldman, the Netherlands manager, and this is how the teams line up. Motherwell, this is their third League Cup game. They drew 3-3 and won on penalties against Queen of the South in midweek. 4 changes from that side, with Liam Kelly coming back in to replace Oxborough in goal. Dan Casey's in for his second debut after signing permanently alongside Blaney in defence, and Wilkinson is also in. He'll be partnering Jonathan Obika. So for Motherwell, they'll line up with Kelly in goal, with the back five of O'Donnell, Casey, Blaney, McGinn and Swary. Miller, Slattery and Spittle make up the midfield, with Obika and Wilkinson up front. The substitutes: Oxborough, Mugabe, Maguire, Payton, McGinley, Wilson, Tierney, Ferry and young Luca Ross. Queen's Park, they make the 3 changes from the 0-0 draw and penalty defeat last weekend against East Fife. 16-year-old Callum McKenna, who was in goal for that one, is dropped as Callum Ferry comes back in. Bruce is in at left back to replace Robson, and Jarrett comes in place of Spong. So they will line up with Callum Ferry in goal. The back 4 will be Longridge, Tizard, Fox and Bruce. That midfield will shape up a bit differently from last weekend, with Dom Thomas, Jack Thompson, Jack Turner, Barry Hepburn and Patrick Jarrett, and then Rory Payton is the lead striker. On the bench, McKenna, Robson, Bannon, Sprong, Healy, Hickey Focaccia, Connolly, Reid and McLeish, and the referee for this one at Fir Park is Stephen McLean.
Thank you, Stuart. 5:15 kick-off for that one. We'll be live at Fir Park with Stuart shortly, and I'll rattle through the scores again in case you missed them after the news at 5 o'clock here on BBC Radio Scotland with Amanda Mitsulo. And I'll go through the groups as they stand, probably at half-time in the next match, which is Motherwell, Queen's Park. Stephen Craigan and Derek Ferguson are standing by alongside Stuart for the commentary. But firstly, let's hear from the managers, and we'll start with the Motherwell boss, Stuart Kettlewell.
Stuart, start of the season, but it's the third game in 8 days for you, and your side have had quite a bit of travelling to do, but you must be looking forward to playing competitively back at Fir Park tonight.
Yeah, we are. I think Stuart, one of the narratives that we approached at the end of last season was our home record, and it wasn't good. I think we managed to turn that around to a degree, but what I want to do is to get off on the front foot. I want to make sure that we're a really difficult team to play against here. I want to give the supporters something to look forward to when they come to Fir Park. And I know that's all the kind of cliches, but genuinely, when you look at this playing surface and you look at the surroundings, this has to be a place that not only the opposition thrive on, but we as the home team really enjoy, and we relish the challenge of playing here.
So in those 2 cup games so far, a tidy 2-0 win against Elgin, the 3-3 on Tuesday against Queen of the South. So what are the aims coming into this game this afternoon? Is it about being tidier at the back?
Yeah, absolutely. I've just spoke about that there, Stuart. I think that I've really enjoyed the process again of going through the pre-season, because it gives us an opportunity to reset the principles and the sort of game model, if you like. What we're trying to implement doesn't change dramatically, but it's about tidying some of the stuff up again, So I spoke about not being good enough on Tuesday in both penalty boxes, even though I thought we were actually quite good between the 18-yard boxes. So it's about defending them better, but it's also about attacking them better. We score 3 goals away from home, and you would expect to win the game, and you're right, we were a bit untidy in some of our work defensively. So it's just about putting all of that together. We're very much a team that attacks and defends together, so that doesn't just go on a back 3, a back 4, a goalkeeper. Very much everybody's included in it, but we've went to work again since Tuesday to analyse it and to put it into practice. That's the biggest part for me. It's not just analysing it and almost sort of being a pundit on it, so to speak. I need to put it into practice on the pitch, and I need to evidence it to the players. So we've got a receptive group here, and hopefully we can correct some of the wrongs from what we've seen on Tuesday.
And with Queen's Park, there's been a lot of hard work there in recent seasons, but a new proposition in Robin Veldman. What are you expecting from his side this afternoon? Yeah,
obviously it's a football club that I'm probably synonymous with. I spent so many years there as a captain, playing in a young side, earning expenses, and the football club looks completely different now. They're full time, and I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how we broach it and to see whether we can act out our game plan and see if it's influential in the 90 minutes. But ultimately, the overall kind of picture for us is that we want to go and try and get the 3 points, which would put us in a real good position in this group.
Right, let's quickly hear from Robin Feldman, then the Queen's Park boss.
So I'm joined by Robin Veldman, the recently appointed new head coach of Queen's Park. Robin, start of the season, you had the 0-0 draw against East Fife coming into this one, but a lot of positives that you could take from that game?
A lot of positives. I think when you look at the domination we had in possession, I think we were 75% of ball possession. A lot of chances. We didn't take the chances, but we created them. So also some good points to take from East Fife.
It's your first opportunity really in the match setting competitively to put your imprint on things since you arrived. How have you settled into the role at Queen's Park so far?
Good. Looking at the organisation, it's a small club with warm people, so really comfortable for me to step in, and everybody is willing to go in with the vision we are trying to get in style of play, but also how we want to monitor all the players. So everybody's buying in. So welcome.
It's another difficult proposition this afternoon. Stuart Kettlewell and Motherwell finished the season in the top flight really strong last year. What are you expecting coming to Fir Park this afternoon?
Yeah, a difficult game. We analysed a few games. We analysed the previous game, so we also see some chances. But it's obvious they got some more experience. They play Premiership, so I think the pressure is on them, and we just want to be competitive in the game. Of course, we want to win, but we want to win in a way we like to play. So our style of play is important, and then we'll be competitive, we think.
His philosophy is about building from the back, being calm with possession on the ball, so still the exact same plan to do that today despite the opposition?
Same principles, yeah, so a different plan, so because otherwise they will analyse us, and everything will be the same. So I think we found a way where we can be different and still be competitive and still with our own values.
Robin Veldman there, the new Queen's Park boss. I haven't had a chance, been so busy, I've not had a chance to speak to Derek and Stephen yet as they prepare for that match at Fir Park. Sounds like the teams are on their way onto the pitch just now, so let's just sit back and enjoy the commentary of the later kick-off in the League Cup group stage. If you want to have a look at the groups as they stand, bbc.co.uk/Sport Scotland. The live text is up, you can check the groups there. I will run through them when I've got a bit more time for you at half time in this one. They're not long underway. The penalty shootout between Livingston and Hamilton after that late Bruce Anderson goal took it to a shootout. So let's go to Derek Ferguson, Stephen Craigan and Stuart Mitchell.
Thank you, Liam. They are indeed the teams on the pitch, and another bumper day of the League Cup on BBC Radio Scotland. Welcome in to Fir Park for Group G, where Motherwell look to continue to build on momentum and reinforce their lead at the top of the group in their competitive home opener. There'll be a test against the Queen's Park side, who are so near yet so far from promotion to join Motherwell in the top flight from last season. This season now guided by Robin Veldman, so a bit of a different look with the new head coach, and despite a draw in their only League Cup match with East Fife last Saturday, they proved tough opposition in pre-season friendlies for Ross County and Livingston. The teams lined up on the pitch, the home side Motherwell in their amber and claret this season, a bit more claret and amber from last season, so back to that more natural, traditional look. Stuart Kettlewell's side, and they will ready with kick-off. Queen's Park, they will be shooting from right to left from our position, the main stand. They're wearing the all-red jerseys with the black shorts and the black socks, and it will be Blair Spittle who's ready to get us underway in this late evening kick-off in the League Cup on BBC Sport Sound. Stephen McLean is your referee, and I'll run through the two starting 11 shortly. The whistle goes, and off we go in Motherwell's competitive home opener against Queen's Park. An early header away by the number 5 Charlie Fox of Queen's Park. Now Slattery trying to advance down the near right side with the ball, but that will go out for the throw. So Motherwell shooting from left to right, and they will be shooting into the stand, Tommy McLean stand, that normally houses the away supporters. That's empty this evening. Queen's Park going from right to left, shooting into the Davy Cooper stand, and Queen's Park have the throw through Cameron Bruce, 17-year-old, who's in at left back in place of Tommy Robson. Fox will launch the ball upfield into the Motherwell half, and that one calmed down by Shane Blaney. That's Liam Kelly now thumping the ball upfield, but Spittle in an offside position, well aware of it. The ball will not be challenged and will run all the way through to Callum Ferry. Queen's Park now starting in the right back position through Lee Longridge, experienced man, versatility from him, and at right back, and here's Charlie Fox on the near side of the penalty area as Queen's Park go from right to left. Bruce beyond the Motherwell man, who's Slattery. He's over the halfway line now, the Queen's Park defender, claims the throw in. Stephen McLean awards. Stephen O'Donnell of Motherwell isn't happy with that decision. So just to run through those lineups: Liam Kelly, the Motherwell captain; O'Donnell, Spittle, Slattery, Abika, Casey, McGinn, Blaney, Miller, Swary and Wilkinson. For Queen's Park, it's Ferry in goal, Fox, Hepburn, Thompson, Payton, Thomas, Tizard, Bruce, Turner, Longridge and Jarrett. Coming through is Jack Turner in the midfield centrally, looks out to the far side. It's laid off to Longridge, who's stepped upfield. He'll just calm things down and play it back onto the halfway line for Will Tizard. An update of Hamilton beating Livingston in that penalty match that Liam was unable to just give us updates on. An action-packed afternoon again. Sliding challenge in there from Casey. Queen's Park still have the ball into the final third. The number 8 there is Jack Thompson out to the far side. 3-4 in the area now for Queen's Park. Blaney heads that one away. It will drop back again to Jack Turner. He'll just settle things down. Joining me in the commentary position at Fir Park, Derek Ferguson, Stephen Craig. And Stephen, I'll come to you first. Queen's Park looking very comfortable here in the opening few minutes.
Yeah, it's contrasting setup, isn't it? You know, we heard Veldman ahead of the game saying that, you know, the style of play is vitally important for Queen's Park. They want to stamp their authority, they want to dictate possession all the time. Motherwell are probably a little bit more aggressive, and that's what they've been under Stuart Kettlewell, a little bit more direct. They may get some time at the back with the back three, they'll have to spend time in the ball, but it's certainly been an interesting lineup so far.
Motherwell have the ball in their own penalty area. It's now out on the right side, this near right side with Paul McGinn. He tries to loop the ball forward, caressing it across the halfway line, along and direct towards the number 99, who's Connor Wilkinson, but he's offside. He's a big guy, but says he's not a target man. Loves the ball at his feet and carrying possession. Has a scoring touch too. Is Queen's Park ready? The free kick just towards the halfway line as they look to advance out of their half. Fox will play it short. Bruce takes it, still in the Queen's Park territory. It's all the way back now to Tizard. Very, very tall figure, a bit skinnier than Fox, who's showing a lot of strength in those two centre-back positions, but plenty of aerial height, and that'll be needed up against Abika and Wilkinson. But in the front line of the Motherwell attack, here's Longridge. He'll look to attack now. A bit of a deflection, the ball goes out for the throw. But again, Queen's Park, very, very comfortable and tidy there, Derek.
Yeah, they're very measured in their build-up. Stephen's absolutely right. You can see the Motherwell at home a little bit, want to be a little bit more direct. You know, Wilkinson, Abika up top, get it forward as quickly as possible and see if they can unsettle that defence. But you just look whenever Queen's Park, you know, get possession of the ball, you know, that's what it's all about. It's possession. It's a slow build-up. It's a good tactic away from home, you know, because a decent crowd here. But at the moment, Motherwell fans, nothing really to shout about.
The noise you can hear is over in that top right corner from where we're positioned in the main stand, in the old shed. And that's the noise you can hear from the Motherwell supporters around the three stands. The ball at the back now with Ferry, the Queen's Park goalkeeper. Longridge charged down by Spittle. Queen's Park will have the throw. It's Motherwell, you look to use that aggressiveness and just try and push Queen's Park further, not let them out from the back so easily, Stephen.
Yeah, I think, you know, the ploy from Stuart Kettlewell will be, can he get John Abika and Connor Wilkinson in a 2v2 against Tizard and Fox?
The loose ball here, Abika's picked up in the penalty area, lays it off for Spittle, sliding challenge from Bruce there. It's pinpoint, ball breaks away outside of the area. Motherwell look to recycle. Stephen O'Donnell steps forward in this near side. And the ball caressed in by McGinn, but it's a loose pass, and now Queen's Park will look to hit in the counter-attack. Payton is the forward man, he looks to chase the ball down, but the pass is heavy, and Dan Casey, the Irish defender, will see it all the way over the touchline. And a little bit of a word after from Casey there, he's unhappy with the challenge from Payton. He'll just turn and look over the right shoulder and give him another look. It's a Motherwell solid man at the back has a word with the referee now to claim there. And Liam Kelly will take over duties of the ball.
They get away with that one, Stuart. You know, we're talking about the one to build from the back, but there is a time and a place, and you know, there's a good press from Motherwell then, you know, and a ball breaking to Spittle, just unlucky not to take advantage of it. But I think that's important, you know. They've got to choose their moments right, Motherwell, when to press, when to just drop off a little bit, because I think at times they will give you an opportunity.
I think on the flip side of that, Queen's Park have to be careful that they can't play every single time. I understand that's the philosophy and the manager wants that, but sometimes you have to give the players a responsibility on the pitch of not to take risks if it's not necessary.
Especially
there you go.
A setting like this too, and that pressure's just starting to show on Queen's Park in defence. The ball now out on the far side in their half, across in front of the east stand. Throw will be in line with the Queen's Park penalty area. It's Pap Soiree. There's the ball in his hands. He aims it towards the touchline. Spittle gets there, hooks the ball across. Fox with a delicate touch for Tizzard, who'll now swipe that one away under a bit of pressure. Blaney will help it back into the penalty area. The break falls now for Jack Thompson, the Queen's Park midfielder, aiming for Payton, but that one heavy and loose again, not in the direction of the Queen's Park number 9. Liam Kelly in the purple goalkeeper kit. Motherwell have given it away now. An opportunity for Hepburn. Ball forward, through ball now looking for Payton. It's Paul McGinn doing the covering. So both sides just looking a little bit shaky there as they try and play the ball out from the back, and Soiree gets in a mix-up. And that will give Queen's Park the throw in a similar position to Motherwell's earlier, in line with the penalty area over on the far side with 7 minutes on the clock. It's Motherwell 0, Queen's Park 0.
Just sloppy from Dan Casey. You know, it's not as if it was a hard pass, it was just a simple basic ball. He underhit it, the direction of it was all wrong, and suddenly then it gives Queen's Park a little bit of momentum.
Wilkinson carrying it forward for Motherwell now on that far side. Look to ride the challenge. Tizzard's the one sliding. He made his debut against East Fife on Saturday. The 20-year-old teased in, brings down Connor Wilkinson. Stephen McLean will have a word, and Motherwell will have the free kick. 0-0 it remains.
It's a booking every day of the week. You know, he's breaking away. He's down that left-hand side. He's got an opportunity to cut in and bear in and goal. So I don't understand why the referee's kept his cards in his pocket there.
I mean, I think the laws of the game are the laws of the game. Whether it's a friendly, whether it's a League Cup game, or whether it's a
well, it's early on.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a booking.
Wilkinson definitely had the beating of him and knocked the ball away and then brought down, but it's Queen's Park on the move now. Jarrett out to that right side. Queen's Park still hold possession. Longridge coming forward. The man coming across from Motherwell is Blaney, who puts it out, and the first corner will go the way of the visitors. Queen's Park 0-0 it remains.
Well, I have to say, Queen's Park are pleasing on the eye, aren't they? You know, they're trying to thread those little balls in the midfield. They're trying to get their wide players inside the pitch, which is causing Motherwell's back three an issue. So certainly a good watch.
It's taken short towards Hepburn. There's the layoff, left-footed crest towards the front post, and Jack Thompson trying to get a touch. It's deflected behind the Blair Spittle, with the bright yellow boots getting his toes to that, hooking it away, and Queen's Park will have another corner. 0-0 it remains with 8.5 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, and again, Stuart, you know, they're not looking well. I don't know if they're going to do it now. I think they're going to put it into the box. They try to build everything, you know, and why wouldn't you? In this surface, you know, you've got it for Park, but yeah, as Stephen says, good on the eye.
Curled in towards Kelly, punches it away. He'll drop to Jarrett, doesn't get a clean strike at the second attempt, left-footed. He claims the deflection. A third consecutive Queen's Park corner is awarded by the referee, Stephen McLean. Motherwell 0, Queen's Park 0, and Stephen Craigan just showing the mix-up there. Instead of going short, they've got that aerial height of Tizzard and Fox too.
They have, and you know, Motherwell can't get out. They've been hemmed in for the last 3 or 4 minutes. Can they go and win this first header, clear the box, or will Queen's Park get an opportunity and goal? And listen, you only had to listen to Veltman ahead of the game, saying 75% possession against East Fife, but didn't do enough with it. They need that cutting edge, that ruthlessness. So we'll certainly hope they can get it this afternoon.
They'll need to take their chances if they come away with anything from Premiership opposition. The corner is in the bottom left arc from our position in the main stand, right-footed, taken by Hepburn. It's long towards the back. The headers from Lennon Miller, still there to be challenged. Payton backs in. Motherwell move away with the ball. Miller has it again. He's filled over on the far side touchline by Longridge, and the play brought to a halt by the referee. Motherwell will have possession. Motherwell 0, Queen's Park 0. Free kick back in the penalty area for that earlier foul committed by Rory Payton, top scorer in League One last season. 22-year-old was the only player in the League One PFA Scotland Team of the Year that wasn't a member of the top 3 teams in the final table. And Motherwell under pressure from Queen's Park. Tom McGinn will take though for the home side, up towards Abika. Touch, 4 players around him immediately, gets the break of the ball. Stephen O'Donnell's there, right-footed. He just tries to cushion it forward for a run from Wilkinson, but that communication not right, as the number 99 in Motherwell's attack was aiming for the penalty area. O'Donnell played it up the channel. Thompson now for Queen's Park in the centre circle, over for Longridge. Pass onto the touchline, infield it goes. Jack Turner takes, looks across for Bruce, zips the pass to this near side. Now Hepburn, the man on loan from the Bayern Munich second team, back into the midfield for Turner. Tidy possession play from the Spiders here. Tizzard back across to the near side of the centre circle. for Charlie Fox. Bruce with the touch, pressured by Abika. Queen's Park in their red jerseys with black shorts. Number 15 Tizard back out to Longridge. He now goes long down the channel. Peyton chases, but that one right in the vision of Liam Kelly, who could come out, and the ball will bounce its way through into his hands. Motherwell 0, Queen's Park 0, 11.5 minutes played.
And they don't look too comfortable at the back trying to play out, Stephen. You know, Casey and Blaney already, you know, early on in this game, a couple of big mistakes that they've got away with so far. So maybe you can see why they're going a little bit more direct in their play.
Well, Casey signed late. He didn't have a pre-season. He hasn't played any games. This is his first start, and you can get that sense from him. A little bit loose, a little bit slack, trying to find his bearings. But also last season, Derek, he played as a left side centre half, so he probably didn't spend as much time in the ball. You know, Callum Butcher played as a middle one. He was the one that stepped in, so he doesn't look as comfortable in that middle role as what he did in the left hand side.
Callum Butcher out through injury. Ricky Lamie out through suspension. 2 yellow cards on Tuesday night in the 3-3 drawn penalty win down at Queen of the South. Mugabe started in that game too, so 2 of the 3 centre backs replaced by Stuart Kettlewell for this one this evening. Queen's Park have the ball in their penalty area. Fox just laying it off to Callum Ferry, the 25-year-old goalkeeper who's back in the side for the Spiders this afternoon. The 16-year-old Callum McKenna was the starting keeper over in Fife last Saturday. Robin Veldman impressed with the 16-year-old in the way he played as the extra man and his aerial command coming out for crosses. Motherwell have a throw here at Fir Park over on the far side, just inside the Queen's Park territory. Steve McLean just sets the position. It will be Shane Blaney who's left the ball by Soiree. Blaney will have a look for the options. Lennon Miller makes the move, the number 38 who made the headlines last weekend. It's Motherwell's youngest goal scorer in that 2-0 win away to Elgin City. It's the Steelmen giving up possession again. A nudge from Slattery on young Cameron Bruce, the Scotland under-18 international, and he'll win a free kick for his Queen's Park side with 13 minutes on the clock. Motherwell 0, Queen's Park 0 in Group G in the League Cup.
Yeah, I think it's just a little bit of frustration from Callum Slattery, because himself, Lennon Miller and Blair Spittle, Motherwell's 3 midfield players who are good, tidy footballers, haven't really had a touch of the ball. They haven't had a chance to influence the game at any stage.
Got it now though. Stephen O'Donnell winning it back with a sliding challenge. Wilkinson with a loose pass, trying to link up with his partner Abika. Longridge has it far side for Queen's Park. Plenty of options in the middle there. He turns back, finds Jack Turner, the spare man in space. Now Jack Thompson back to Tizard. Now with the goalkeeper Callum Ferry in the all green goalkeeper kit for Queen's Park. Charlie Fox just stands on the ball with the left foot, places his studs on it. There's not enough options for him to find a safe pass forward, so we use the goalkeeper once again. Ferry goes direct towards Hepburn, up against Paul McGinn. It's McGinn who wins the header. It's helped back forward by Bruce, bouncing around in front of that Motherwell defence. Jarrett loses out to Spittle. He has a look forward. Slattery's deep. He'll take possession, and then a nice turn and almost the right pass for Stephen O'Donnell, who was charging his way forward to the halfway line, but just a touch heavy, and the right back of Motherwell couldn't get there in time.
There's a little bit, you can sense a little bit of frustration from the Motherwell players, and you're right, Stephen. You know, it's a frustrating thing when you've not, certainly when you're at home, and you know you're against an opposition that are a league below you. You're expecting to have more of the ball, so you can sense that little bit of frustration. But when they're getting it, they need to have a little bit more calmness about the play. Just get a little touch on it, a little bit of possession, calm it down. As you can see what Queen's Park are doing at the moment, they're doing it ever so well.
Still have the ball. Cameron Bruce just inside the Motherwell half, rolls it back for Fox. Short pass in there for Turner. Slattery at his back, gives him a little push. Queen's Park keeping the ball. Fox will now progress over the halfway line again. Direct ball over to the far side. Longridge takes comfortable touch with the instep of the right foot. Now towards Fox. Lets the ball run. Wilkinson doesn't press. Fox allowed to move forward again. Longridge takes his eye off it. The ball rolls through his legs and he can keep it in play. Now facing his own goal, we'll give it back to the goalkeeper Ferry. What a chances Queen's Park created last Saturday against East Fife. Something that Robin Veldman sees as a positive, but the disappointment was not putting any in the net. Both sides did have a goal ruled out, but at the end of it, it was 0-0 and they couldn't take those chances. Liam Kelly here has given Queen's Park a chance by the misplaced pass to Cameron Bruce. Coming up the near side, laid off to Hepburn, takes the ball into the right foot, slides it through. Jarrett plays it low, and there's a touch from Dan Casey, and it's then recovered by Liam Kelly. And Queen's Park there, Stephen Craigan, just allowed to get through that Motherwell defence all too easy, but 0-0 it remains.
Well, Motherwell have been masters of their own downfall so far. Slack passes, poor choices. The number of times they win possession and can't make the first pass or the second pass. Suddenly the ball's turned over. Queen's Park are dominating. It's excellent play by Queen's Park. They're waiting, they're setting traps for Motherwell. They're forcing them to put the ball into dangerous areas. They're picking it up, and then they've got that little change of pace to go forward.
Another thing as well, Stuart, when they do get possession of the ball, certainly in the final third, Queens, there is a change of tempo. And Jarrett, he's bombing forward, and those midfield three, there's got to be one of them who's got to match that run, because that's 2 or 3 times, he's found himself in possession of the box, in the box and just outside, and they've got to be wary of that, because if you go allow that to happen, sooner or later they're going to punish you.
Just a moment ago, Motherwell wanted a free kick. Connor Wilkinson went down, nothing going his way. Low and Queen's Park worked the ball again. Lovely interchange between Jack Thompson and Jack Turner, and finding space out wide for Longridge. They've given the ball away. Motherwell once again in possession. McGinn, there's a charge from the front three. Payton and Hepburn the closest to the ball, and that means McGinn has to go all the way back to Kelly, and his long kick will bounce out in front of Robin Velman's technical area. And it's the Queen's Park head coach who's looking very calm. He's offering a few instructions to Charlie Fox there before he takes the throw in. He just paces back towards the substitutes bench, and a word for his coaching staff. He'll be delighted with what he's seen in his first 17 and a half minutes.
I think there's a nervousness about Motherwell though. You can get the kind of sense of anticipation from the crowd. They were turning up expecting to roll Queen's Park over, stay top of the group and potentially put themselves in a qualifying position, but it hasn't been that way.
Hepburn charges down McGinn. Motherwell will have the throw, the last touch coming off the young Queen's Park attacker. Throw all the way back into the Motherwell penalty area for Kelly. Upfield it goes towards Obika. Tizzard wins the header. Obika didn't challenge for it. Tizzard could just crouch down that very tall frame of his to cushion the ball into the midfield, and he's on the ball once again with his right foot across to his defensive partner Fox.
They're so calm, aren't they, Steve? I mean, you were a centre back, you look at Tizzard, you look at Fox, none under pressure, but they're just taking it down. Great first touch, popping a pass off, and as you can see at the moment, as he's taking a little bit of a chance there, right enough.
Fox under pressure, charged down, Spittle takes possession, forward it goes now. Slattery tries to navigate his way through the red defence of Queen's Park. Motherwell have the throw. It looked tidy to begin with.
Spoke too soon.
But you did speak too soon, Derek. That's the curse of the commentator, isn't it? Motherwell throw, near side, in line with the penalty area. O'Donnell takes, Slattery gives him it back. Reverse to McGinn, Slattery once again. Pink boots, clips it to O'Donnell. He tries to feed it into a dangerous area, but no one making the run. Connor Wilkinson was the man he probably expected. Maybe Stephen, just a little bit of that change in the attack. No Kevin Van Veen, of course. I mean, Motherwell supporters might want me to limit the amount of times I mention his name. It's been mentioned so much in recent times, but it's a new look attack, and maybe just that interchange and what you expect from a previous attacker not there with the new attackers.
Well, there's just been no real cohesion throughout the team, never mind the attackers, and that probably sums it up. The fact that they seem to be playing as individuals, they're focusing so much more on their defensive role as opposed to when they get the ball, how can they link up. But certainly Queen's Park, it's bold from them, Derek. They're trying to play every opportunity. Whether it has longevity or can be successful in the championship every single week, I don't know, but certainly it's been good this afternoon or this evening,
Yeah, Motherwell, they just don't look as if they're on the same wavelength. that understanding when again, it's early in the season, but this is a competitive game, and you're expecting by now, that they've got to know each other pretty well. They've had a pre-season, they've had a number of games now, so you'd be expecting a little bit better from Motherwell. I just think it's because Queens at the moment, that composure and that style that they've got, they're dominating the ball, and they're giving obviously Motherwell problems here. And I was just talking about the two at the back, Fox and Tizzard, they're so comfortable, and at times when they need to, under a bit of pressure, they're breaking into that midfield area and still able to pop a quality pass off.
Lovely play between Turner and Longridge. He drills the ball low, it's cleared away by Dan Casey, and out it goes to the midway point on the far side for another Queen's Park throw. Just before that, Motherwell again loose with possession in the middle, just being outnumbered by the Queen's Park midfield in this first 20 minutes, and they come down that far side again. Ball into the area, only Dan Casey waiting. Short outside the penalty box for Miller, links up with Wilkinson. He's in a bit of trouble though. Jarrett applies the pressure on his heels. Spittle has it, comfortable pass now for Slattery. The option to release Stephen O'Donnell in the near slide. Cameron Bruce coming across with the sliding challenge. The outside of the right foot with those blue boots, getting his toes to the ball first. Motherwell throw. Motherwell 0, Queen's Park 0, 21 and 14 seconds on the clock.
It's brilliant recovery, isn't it, from Bruce Ada? Had to make up 20-30 yards there, and he gets there and it's a fantastic tackle, and it looked as if for a moment Motherwell were going to get a little bit of joy in that break, but no, terrific defending.
He's only 17.
Brilliant.
To have that instinct as well for someone so young. He looks about 14, I have to say, but he is 17. He's just so slight, but a lovely little football, lovely left foot. I mean, he had a chance to make that tackle. He certainly didn't pull out.
To make it only his 5th Queen's Park appearance. Stephen O'Donnell readies the throw, bounces through. Lennon Miller looks up, clips it right footed onto the penalty spot. Spittle with the header, it's going wide. Obika tries to keep it in play, he does so successfully. It's back towards Miller. Motherwell applying the pressure, curled in towards the front post and headed away. And Queen's Park will now take over possession through Thomas. Up towards Payton, he's deep, so he'll hold it up and wait for support. Now Turner, heavy touch, manages to recover though. Thompson down on the ground after the late challenge. Cameron Bruce takes over, slows it down, just knows his team missing a man at the moment. And the pass across to Longridge. Thomas still hugs that far side touchline. It goes back towards the centre backs. Now Fox, he points. Hepburn makes the run, but the ball goes short to Bruce. Left footed on this near side, he'll cushion it all the way back to Ferry. He goes direct to the far side, and that's too far in front of Dom Thomas, and will go out for the Motherwell throw. Motherwell 0, Queen's Park 0. Certainly looking like a tough evening for the Fir Park Premiership side in this encounter in the League Cup this evening. Motherwell topping the group as it stands on 6 points. Queen's Park with their only game previous to this against East Fife last Saturday, picked up a point, didn't get the bonus point with the defeat on penalties. And it is the visitors on the ball again. 23 on the clock. Fox plays the ball into Payton, just fills that hole between the attack and the midfield. It's back towards Bruce, he'll caress it forward looking for Jarrett. That one will go all the way through to Liam Kelly, who's grateful to pick up, and he'll just carry it to the front of the penalty area and allow Motherwell to try and set up their shape again. Begins the wide man on this near side. It's clipped towards him, he brings it down comfortably, hooks it forward for Stephen O'Donnell, who, just with the look towards the assistant Stephen Craigan, you knew that he knew he was offside there.
Yeah, well, it just shows you how aggressive Queen's Park are being. The fact that they are so high up the pitch. The Motherwell's right wing back is the furthest player forward and is actually offside. So everything about Queen's Park has been good to an extent. It's just that final pass sometimes into the final third when you're kind of rushing it or they're trying to force the ball, it is not. But you've got to say, Robin Veldman is almost conducting from the side. When players move out of pockets, he's wanting someone else to fill gap. He's wanting them to rotate all the time and dictate the game.
Hepburn chasing McGinn in the Motherwell defensive third. McGinn hooks it over his head. Payton takes. O'Donnell and Casey couldn't get there. It's Cameron Bruce composed on the ball again, back towards Tizard. It's in the Queen's Park half now and work towards that far right side in front of the John Hunter stand. Blaney intercepts. Thomas has it, coming in field, looks towards the near side, rolls it to Payton, edge of the D. Now Barry Hepburn onto the right foot, closed down by Spittle. Looks to caress it towards the back post, headed away. Now Slattery will take over for Motherwell, stabs the ball into the path of Spittle. Queen's Park open at the back here. Abika advancing in front of Spittle. Wilkinson coming up to support. O'Donnell makes the move on this near right side of the penalty box, clips it across goal. Abika, how did he miss? All alone in the penalty area. He just had to nod it with the slightest of touches past Callum Ferry in the Queen's Park goal, but somehow he puts it the wrong side of the post, and it remains with 25 minutes played. Motherwell 0, Queen's Park 0.
That's quite incredible. I think it's harder to miss than to score. He's 2-3 yards out, the goal was gaping, and I don't know what he's trying to do, why he's trying to flick it with the head, just put your head on, it's into the back of the net, and No, it's quite incredible that. But just before that, I was just watching. We were talking about Jarrett. I think Leon Miller is kind of maybe that one or two kind of instructions from the side, just to keep an eye on him. I think I'd prefer. He's only a young boy, isn't he, Stephen?
He's 16, Lennon Miller.
He's a terrific football player, but I think he's took the responsibility, to pick up Jarrett. But that miss was quite incredible.
Queen's Park going right up the other end through Barry Hepburn, and Stephen O'Donnell stands in the way, and he's unhappy with Dan Casey there. The experienced right back having to do the covering, and now the Spiders have the throw in line with the penalty spot to our left on the near side. Is Bruce, the left back, coming up to take options there in Payton and Hepburn. They make their move. Motherwell back in numbers, 8 there to defend. Bruce makes his decision. It's towards Jarrett. Back to Bruce, takes it on the right foot, stumbles a little but regains his footing. Left foot now towards the byline, up towards the 6-yard area, and Liam Kelly claims confidently and asks for the movement in front. Right footed on the edge of the box, he'll hit it high up into the Fir Park sky towards Slattery, and Charlie Fox claims.
How's he missed that, Stephen?
You're right, all he's got to do is make contact with the ball. He doesn't need to turn his head or try and direct it.
Dom Thomas cutting infield, left footed, and that looked like a shot, but it ended up being a cross as Payton advanced on the shoulder of Paul McGinn. He stretched with his neck muscles, got up high to try and get his head to it, but couldn't get enough on it to guide it towards goal, and it goes wide and out for the Motherwell goal kick. 27 minutes played at Fir Park. Motherwell 0, Queen's Park 0.
I think that cross from Dom Thomas, it was always rising above Rory Payton. He's not a 6'3" centre forward. He's a dynamic player who can get about the pitch, so just wasn't tall enough.
It's becoming end to end here now as Abika takes it inside the final third, laid off for Spittle, skips the challenge, cut back towards Slattery, and he launches that one over the crossbar. But that's better from Motherwell and Stuart Kettlewell's side, having a go at that Queen's Park defence. It was Spittle doing the work. The cutback looked lovely for Slattery, but maybe the body position all wrong, Derek, just to try and get the right angle towards Callum Ferry's goal.
Yeah, it was just bouncing up a little bit. It was quite a difficult skill, to get it on target from there, but it's certainly better from Motherwell. Again, they go longer. Obika showing his strength, and the cutback, you just take a little bit of pace off it. He maybe has a better chance of getting a better connection, but certainly seem to have woken up a little bit, Motherwell. Using that physicality a little bit better, and they've made a couple of great chances. I still keep looking at that area where Abika missed it. That's why I was asking Stephen. I just find that incredible. A centre forward, playing at this level can miss a chance like that.
Important interception from Dan Casey as Motherwell having to be alert as Queen's Park look to attack, so chances starting to present themselves now, more for Motherwell. Queen's Park still looking to get in behind the Motherwell defence, but two clear-cut opportunities, you'd have to say, for Stuart Kettlewell's side. Obika, how did he not give the Steelmen the lead? Will they get it here though? Slattery through for Obika, he has options, a deflection, and Motherwell take the lead. In fortunate circumstances, John Obika has the goal. He scored against Elgin in Motherwell's cup opener, and that was actually a more difficult chance than his earlier one. But the deflection in Obika's favour off the Queen's Park defender. Callum Ferry had already made his move, so he couldn't get a hand to it, and Motherwell opened the scoring inside the half hour in this first half. Motherwell 1, Queen's Park 0.
Well, he gets a huge slice of luck. Derek says he's still looking at that area where he put the header, and I'm the same. I mean, if you'd asked him to do that 100 times, I'm not too sure he could put the ball there. But it just shows you what the life's like as a centre forward. He gets through one-on-one. He takes a huge deflection off Charlie Fox, I think. But I've got to say, the build-up play from that goal for Motherwell was terrific. When Blaney, DeCasey, Paul McGinn played lovely 1-2 with Stephen O'Donnell. They picked off Queen's Park, who were open, they were exposed, and then the ball went into John Obika. Got that big slice of luck, and probably Motherwell's last 3 attacks, they could easily have scored 3 goals. It took them the third attempt to get it, but they lead by a goal.
Yeah, the difference for me was that the Slattery pass, and it was one-touch football, in the opponent's half, but certainly Slattery, when the ball comes into him, if he takes a touch, he doesn't get that chance, Obika. It's again the pass, but the weight of pass, it's perfect. But yeah, I think the keeper was getting it, but they got that bit of luck you need sometimes.
Well, Queen's Park respond. Here's Thomas on the right side, he has options, a deflection clawed away by Kelly, and Barry Hepburn skies the ball over the crossbar. He got too excited, he could have let the ball drop, and he might have had more time to just guide that one towards goal. But outstanding goalkeeping from Liam Kelly, who so often saves Motherwell at times, and it was Queen's Park that time cutting through the Steelmen. and the man with the captain's armband doing the job of clawing the ball away, and Hepburn couldn't find the net. Motherwell 1, Queen's Park 0, a half hour played.
That's a brilliant save, isn't it? Again, it's another huge deflection, but Kelly, reacts to it. Great save, but expecting Hepburn a little bit more composure at the back post. I think he just got a little bit excited. Just try and get that in target, keep it down. But as I says, maybe that excitement of seeing the goal, at his mercy, put it well over and end up.
I mean, it was a mirror image of Motherwell's goal, wasn't it? They threw in the exact same area of the pitch, cutting in from that right hand side. Dom Thomas on his left foot, John O'Beak on his left foot. Motherwell get away with one.
Queen's Park on the ball again through Patrick Jarrett. It's now Turner, he's filled in the middle by Slattery. Queen's Park will have the free kick. Central position inside the Motherwell half. Jack Turner wants to take it. Abika won't let him. He picks up the ball and repositions. He'll get a word in the ear from the referee, Stephen McLean. I have to say, both sides playing good football in this encounter in Group G in the League Cup. You're listening to BBC Sports Sound. Motherwell 1, Queen's Park 0. Jonathan Abika with the goal for Stuart Kettlewell's side. But one thing I will say, the 31 minutes on the clock is very entertaining game between these two sides. Ferry on the ball for Queen's Park, up towards Blaney. He heads it away back into the midfield area. Queen's Park take control. Longridge, Thomas in a battle with Papswari, finds it back to Tizard. Now Fox, he directs and orchestrates the forward attack. Bruce takes over on the near side, crosses a halfway line. Watch the short pass to Hepburn. He presents himself. O'Donnell charges it down, and that will set the tone for Stuart Kettlewell's men. That helps the Steelmen move upfield and try and press Queen's Park in their own territory. Tizard has it. Is there a short option in the midfield? Ball halts in the Queen's Park defence. Jarrett central, looking to find Thomas, can't get it over the head of Lennon Miller. Spittle takes, closed down. Jack Thompson spins on the ball. Back to Tizard. This ball's aimless and into an empty area where Shane Blaney can take over in possession for Motherwell. Approaching the 33rd minute. Paul McGinn, calm, composed, picks the pass to Slattery. Jinks past Jack Turner. Now Swari, Spittle points. Swari turns back. He'll use Blaney. Casey now for McGinn. Motherwell looking better since creating that first Abika chance. Slattery just can't bring the ball under full control, and he'll go out for the Queen's Park throw in line with their defensive penalty area on the near side.
Yeah, I think Motherwell have got more ownership in the last 10 minutes, haven't they? They've made more passes, more incisive passes, as opposed to the first 20 minutes. It was pass, give it away, ball turnover, and Queen's Park were dictating the game. So they kind of wrestled it back into their favour a bit.
Yeah, just a wee injection of pace as well on the pass. A little bit sharper. They're doing everything a little bit quicker. And they certainly look a better side, and they've showed with the goal. They're capable. That one-touch football. And they get the rewards.
Is that a case maybe, Stephen, that the goal's just taking the sting out of Queen's Park a little bit?
Well, you lose heart a little bit because you're playing so well, you're dictating the game, you've had a couple of little half chances, and then suddenly you get cut open and you go behind, and sometimes it can take you 5-10 minutes just to recover. And as young players, and you have to say, it is a young squad, you have to learn to deal with the setbacks, clear your mind and focus on the game.
It's the Championship side in possession at the moment, trying to thread the ball through on the far side. Remember, Queen's Park going from right to left, the visitors. Motherwell going from left to right, shooting into the Tommy McLean stand, which is empty at the moment, with the supporters scattered around the other three stands at Fir Park. Motherwell play out from the back themselves. Comfortable pass for O'Donnell. Slattery, tripped by Bruce. Stephen McLean has a look, and the whistle in the background is for the free kick for the Steelmen.
He's been Motherwell's best player for me, Slattery, Derek.
Yeah.
You being a midfield player, just as linked up players, runs and his way to pass. A few times you've mentioned it.
He's positive, Stephen. Any time he's on the ball, he's looking to play a forward pass. He's looking to make things happen. But his pass for the goal, it was top draw. The way to pass, and to have that knowledge to play it first time.
Again, stands over the free kick in the Motherwell half, and he'll aim towards Wilkinson. Up for the header, wins it on Tizard. Abika will give chase. Bruce has a look over his shoulder, sees the number 9 of Motherwell catching him up, and just puts out a play for the throw. Paul McGinn will move over to take and roll it down the line for O'Donnell. Stephen O'Donnell spoke about a tough 18 months, losing his position in the Motherwell team and in the national squad, but his career's been full of ups and downs, and he'll use that mental strength to try and put his claim back towards Stuart Kettlewell to be a key part of his side. Dan Casey forward, lifts the ball over the Queen's Park defence. Wilkinson will give chase. That may just bounce over the touchline as he tries to slide and hook it back into play with the left foot, but unable to do so. Derek, just touching on the midfield role, with Callum Slattery now having Lennon Miller, 16-year-old, in beside him. He's made an impact himself, Lennon Miller, in recent times and last season, but does Slattery's role change maybe a little bit with having someone so young beside him?
Yeah, well, I mean, you have that responsibility, to lead the example, and but sometimes I think when you look at the boy Miller, and I know that he was 16 when I was, before I come over here, and I'd heard some good things about him. He doesn't play like a 16-year-old. He doesn't look like a 16-year-old to me. So sometimes you just need to leave these guys alone. They've got that belief in their own ability.
Queen's Park on the attack. Advantage play. Rory Payton lines up the strike. It's charged down by Dan Casey. Referee playing advantage in the middle. Swari goes in and a clash of heads, and that's a bad one between Pap Swari, and it looks like Louis Longridge, I think, who's down and he's battering his toes off the ground, and Pap Swari is flat out too on the pitch, and the medical teams rush on there, and both players look to have eyes on the ball there, and Pap Swari just coming in at some force to get his head to clear the ball away. And a very, very tense moment for the two players. We hope both of the representatives of either team is okay. The players will go over for a quick refreshment from their respective coaching staffs. A break in play. Stephen McLean has a word with Liam Kelly. I think that's Dom Thomas there in Queen's Park colours, just stating the case either side. As two experienced players, you expect to do that. We'll just run through the results today. If you're just joining us on BBC Sports Sound, it's currently Motherwell 1, Queen's Park 0 at Fir Park in this evening kick-off. Early results: Alloa 0, St Johnstone 4, Stirling were 2-1 winners against Stenhousemuir, Dundee United with a 3-0 victory over Peterhead, Partick Thistle 2, Falkirk 2, a 7-6 win on penalties, Cove Rangers 3-2 winners over Brecon, Livingston 1, Hamilton 1, with Hamilton winning 4-1 in penalties, Ross County 2, Morton 1, Stranraer 2, FC Edinburgh 1, Adrionians with a 1-0 win over Premiership side Dundee, Dumbarton 0, Bonnyrigg Rose 0, Dumbarton 4-3 winners on penalties, Albion Rovers were 2-0 winners away to Annan Athletic, and in our earlier commentary at 3 o'clock on BBC Sports Sound, it finished Dunfermline 0, Kilmarnock 2 at East End Park. Pap Swari is back on his feet, with applause from the Motherwell supporters, and my view a little bit blocked of Louis Longridge from the medical team giving him treatment, but it looks like he might be sitting up there, Stephen Craigan. But both managers, something they won't want to see, that kind of clash, even though the intent from both players appeared to be fair, going for the ball.
Well, I just felt the minute the ball was in the air, Soiree had to travel too far to win the ball. I think he just threw himself at it, hoping he would make contact, and Louis Longridge was completely unaware that he was coming towards him. I think he's got a bit of clarity shown, hence the reason why it's taken a little bit longer with him. So he's clearly come off second best in it, but I thought it was a rash tackle.
I thought it was reckless, to be honest with you.
It was a rash tackle he didn't need to make.
You're absolutely right, Stephen, because the ball's coming down, Longridge is under the ball, Suarez coming at pace, and that pace and that recklessness, he just threw himself, and he was one way or the other, he was going to clatter Longridge. So I tell you what, again, and I'm not looking to get players booked, but you look at sometimes players pick up, bookings for certain tackles. I thought that was a poor challenge, to say the least.
I thought it was yellow.
It puts the player at risk.
The referee Steve McLean keeping the cards in the pocket. Earlier there was a shout from Connor Wilkinson, who went down as he was looking to get in on goal. Will Tizard evaded the referee's book on that occasion, and now Louis Longridge is up back on his feet, and applause around Fir Park.
Is there an unwritten rule that early in the season certain challenges they let them go? If that's into the season, I'm telling you, I'm sure that's a booking. And we'd won earlier away over in the Wilkinson, there was a tackle.
That's what I'm saying to you, it shouldn't be unwritten.
Yeah,
because the laws of the game don't say, by the way, in the early stage of the season you don't have to give it.
It's like, Stephen, sometimes there's certain challenges in the box, you get away with, again, players try to shield the ball out, to let it run out of play. you know, and it's blatant obstruction, you know, and they get away with it. It's just as if it's the first couple of games. We'll let a few of the things go. It shouldn't be that way.
Ball is rolling again with just over 40 minutes on the clock. Motherwell 1, Queen's Park 0. Abika with the only goal of the game so far. Swari back on the field, and now Longridge enters the field again, which is great to see both players okay and able to continue. Motherwell hook the ball forward. Wilkinson gives chase, and Ferry out towards the front of the penalty area, and he'll collect in all green. Goalkeeper kit for Queen's Park. Camley rolls the ball out for Jack Thompson, who comes short. Swari back in with Longridge again, hooks the ball away. He goes down. Was there a pull? The Motherwell supporters on that far side thought so, as did the new Steelman left back, but Stephen McLean happy to let play continue. Ferry curls the ball out to this near side for Bruce. Jarrett stabs the ball for Hepburn, still inside the Queen's Park half, now in Motherwell territory. Tries to go past McGinn, gives it away for O'Donnell to recover. Casey picks the pass for Slattery. Spittle, first time, threaded ball through towards the Beaker, and as he gets towards the ball, the flag raised, and Stephen McLean will play the advantage. Just under 3 minutes to half time, of the 45-minute mark. There will be some time added on for that clash of heads between Longridge and Swari. The Spiders have given the ball away. Lennon Miller has an option right, and O'Donnell stabs the ball through for Wilkinson, who doesn't move. Bruce Camley in his own box gets it back to Ferry, the goalkeeper. He'll look long. No one up there. Tatum will chase down now. Casey, McGinn strokes the ball in field. Motherwell just can't let possession to stick. Jarrett goes down. A bump in the back from Callum Slattery, and Queen's Park will have the free kick. Motherwell 1, Queen's Park 0.
Yeah, and you talk about bookings, and Callum Slattery, that's about his 5th foul. You know, so
He's clever with it.
Yeah, he is,
Yeah.
but you know, it's just little needless fouls sometimes.
But I think
it just draws the referee's attention.
And the reason I'm saying it's clever, because they're in their build-up, and it's just a little nudge. I don't think you can book him for that, but yeah, if they keep piling up. But I just think he just disrupting play, stopping them, you know, playing that possession game. I just think at times it's quite clever from him.
Again, steps in and intercepts for Motherwell. Now Lennon Miller, central area. Motherwell going from left to right from our position in the main stand. Shane Blaney steps up. Now Casey. O'Donnell finds a Beaker. Laid off to Miller. Forward on the right for Slattery. He lifts that one towards goal. Just off balance a bit, I think, there, Stephen, as he was trying to look for the early cross into the box where John Obika was in a bit of position to make that move into the 6-yard area, but gets that one all wrong, and it remains 1-0 to Motherwell.
I think it's the right choice. You know, the minute he's in behind, if you put the ball early across the face of goal, it doesn't allow defenders a chance to recover and get their position set. It puts the emphasis on the strikers to get the end of it. He did overhit it, but I think the longer the games went on, Motherwell have picked Queen's Park off a little bit more. They've found the pockets of space. They've got Slattery in behind. They've got Stephen O'Donnell in behind. So I'm sure Kettlewell will be pleased with the second half of the first half.
Queen's Park in possession with the throw down on that near right side. Bruce has it. He's just trying to push Hepburn a bit further away as Payton now comes in to join the options. Casey heads it into the middle. Miller picks up. Spittle outside of the foot for Slattery. O'Donnell's in space on the right, in line with the penalty spot. Drills it low across. Fox left it for Tizard. He manages to angle it away. Wilkinson goes down. He felt like he had a claim in the area, but Motherwell continue. Slattery drops the shoulder. McGinn moves forward. Lovely first time pass from Stephen O'Donnell as Paul McGinn lifts it towards the back post, and there's the header over the crossbar. It's Pap Swari who was there. He just tried to get his head above it to angle the ball down to bounce it towards goal, but he may be up in the air a little too early and couldn't get the positioning right with the head, and that one goes over the crossbar, and it remains Motherwell 1, Queen's Park 0. John Obika with the goal after 29 minutes.
And for 2 or 3 great little passages of play down this right hand side, and that one-touch football. At this time they get the end product, you know. Swari come in at the back post, just, you know, I think Obika maybe just put him off a little bit, but yeah, you're right, Stephen, you know, they've been excellent in the last 10-15 minutes. I just think it's that one-touch football, that injection of pace.
Do you know what's killed him as well? Young Barry Hepburn, he's good going forward, and he thinks about going forward. Stephen O'Donnell's ran off him, Paul McGinn's ran off him. Once they play the 1-2, young players, they follow the ball as opposed to following the man, and that's why they've got him behind so easily.
2 additional minutes signalled by the 4th official. Motherwell now in possession, hoping to add to their lead for that half-time break. Spittle opts against going forward and rolls it all the way back to Liam Kelly. Lifts it long and it's over the head of Connor Wilkinson. Ferry takes and he'll move it quickly, but a big throw from that long right arm out to Bruce. He settles it down with the pass back to Charlie Fox. Jarrett back to Fox. He'll step into the middle in the Queen's Park half. He's given it away to Abika. Chance here for Motherwell. They have the numbers. 4 on 3. Slid to Slattery, who strikes towards goal, and it rattles the crossbar. The right foot shot, the laces through it. Swari back into the area, headed away by Bruce, and Hepburn will bring it down on the right thigh, but Motherwell win possession. Miller, Slattery lifts it with the toes over towards Miller. Ferry with some commanding goalkeeping to come and help out his defence. But what about that effort from Callum Slattery, Stephen? So close to adding to Motherwell's lead.
Well, I wondered whether he should have shot or took another touch, but he just let fly. I mean, Callum Ferry was diving to his right hand side. It was always probably rising a little bit, smashed off the crossbar, but once again Charlie Fox just playing a risky ball across his own 18-yard box has killed him.
And Motherwell again with that high pressure. Miller wins. Abika cut back only as far as Bruce, and he'll hook it away into the stand for the Motherwell throw.
I think that they've done well in the last 5-10 minutes. We're seeing how well they've played, Motherwell. They're starting to read Queens. They know now that they've learned, and that's a great thing, you know, that they're not just standing back. They've started to anticipate. They know where that ball's going to go in this in the build-up, and that's why they get that opportunity. That was a fantastic strike.
Throw-in comes to nothing. Over it goes. The touchline and the half-time whistle sounded by Stephen McLean, who brings the first half to an end. An enthralling first half here at Fir Park between Premiership Motherwell and Championship Queen's Park in the League Cup. Queen's Park started the game comfortably, but as the game moved on towards the half-hour mark, Motherwell started to create the chances. And how did John Abika not end up on the score sheet before taking a chance at the half-hour mark? He headed one with 25 minutes on the clock, all alone in the 6-yard area beyond the far post, but it wasn't one that he would regret for long, as 4 minutes later he struck a shot from the right side of the penalty area which took a wicked deflection, and Callum Ferry in the Queen's Park goal had no chance. Just moments ago Callum Slattery looked to add to Motherwell's lead, and he rattled the crossbar with a vicious strike. So at half-time, as the teams go down the tunnel at Fir Park in this evening clash in the League Cup, is currently at half-time Motherwell 1, Queen's Park 0.
State of play at Fir Park's 1-0 to Motherwell. Stephen Craigan and Derek Ferguson have been watching that one with Stuart. Stephen, first of all, the goal itself is it's just wonderful build-up play from Motherwell. Okay, there's a real touch of fortune about the goal, but the way they built it up, they almost deserved to score from that move.
Well, it was probably their third incisive attack within about 5 minutes, Liam. You know, we mentioned it in commentary. John Obika somehow misses a sitter from 3 yards, and it came down Motherwell's right hand side once again. You know, young Barry Hepburn, I said it during commentary, he's fine going forward, but he's not quite prepared to do the hard work going back to pitch, and I think there was a couple of little 1-2s opened up for him. Callum Slattery had the chance with his left foot after a good break down the left hand side, and then John Obika eventually got the huge slice of luck to get the goal. But at that stage Motherwell were starting to turn the screw, and Derek mentioned it during commentary that Motherwell have worked Queen's Park out. They know they're wanting to play in short, they know they're wanting to take little risks in the midfield and play straight balls, so they're gambling a little bit, they're stepping forward, they're anticipating the straight balls coming in, they're winning the ball a little bit higher up and they're breaking. So the question now to Queen's Park is, what's plan B? You know, what are you going to do? Can you be better at plan A, or do you have to mix it up a little bit? Because I think the longer the first half has went, the more Motherwell have dominated. Queen's Park have lost their cutting edge. Hepburn's had to track back a little bit more on the left hand side. Dom Thomas has had to track back a little bit more on the right hand side, and Jared, who was influential in the opening 20 minutes, hasn't really had a touch. So Queen's Park have got something to do. Motherwell will probably feel they should be out of sight. They probably should have been 2 or 3-0 up, at least with the chances they've had. But at 1-0, the game is still alive. So Queen's Park, I think it's over to you.
I have to say, I thought that Callum Slattery effort, Derek, that came off the bar was in. It looked in all day long. I'm not sure how it managed to stay out. It's obviously bounced back off the crossbar, but it looked in all the way.
Well, we've got a great view of it from where we're sitting, Liam. And yeah, the ball was moving all over the place, and Ferry in goals. It was well beaten. It was a wonderful move, and it's just that little injection of pace that they've found, certainly in the last 15-20 minutes. in that first half that caused Queen's Park a lot of problems, and that's what Stephen's touching on. I think it's took Motherwell a little bit of time to work them out. Stephen O'Donnell has sensed that Hepburn isn't going to go the other way, so he's starting to take advantage of that. He's bombing down that right hand side. Abika and Wilkinson, they're starting to drop off a little bit, and they're actually saying to likes of the two centre backs, Fox and Tizzard, go and play that pass, and as soon as they're about to play it, they're reading it, and they've been on it a couple of times. So it's been a kind of slow burn because they tried to start quickly, did Motherwell, but we're giving the ball away far too easily. Certainly they tried to build it up from the back. They were really, really slack. And then the other side at Queen's Park, in the early stages of the game, some of the football they were playing was a great watch, but they've got to find a way that Motherwell have done, is find that little change of pace, that little bit of finesse, that little something different, that little bit of magic in the final third if they're going to get themselves back into this game. But at the minute, Motherwell have looked comfortable certainly in the last 15-20 minutes, and it's interesting what Stephen's saying. You can have a philosophy, a way of playing, but they need to do something different if they're going to get something out of this game this afternoon, Queen's Park.
Stephen, what have you made of
this afternoon?
I know, I'm all over the shop. So we've been on air for ages. We're on air until 7:30, by the way. So any Take the Floor fans, 7:30, that's when you're going to get your Gary Innes fix. We'll look forward to that. But anyway, we're on air with Sports until 7:30. Stephen, what have you made of the new Motherwell signings? Wilkinson up front, Soare. What do you think they're bringing to the party?
Well, I think Wilkinson will have to give a little bit more. When you're brought in to replace the 29 goals of Kevin Van Veen, clearly he's not going to replace those goals on his own, but I just think he's probably got to put himself in goal scoring positions a little bit more. He's got to anticipate when the ball goes wide. He's got to get himself into the box. He wants to be a linked up player, he wants to get a touch of the ball, but ultimately a goal scorer, you'll be determined by the number of goals you get. Play between the width of the goals. When it was into the final third gamble, Soare hasn't had an awful lot to do. He had a rash challenge there, could easily have been booked, but I think Stuart Kettle will be pleased how his team responded in that first half.
Well, the teams are back out, just about ready to go for the second half. Can Queen's Park find a way back onto level terms at least come the close of business at Fir Park? Motherwell then 1, Queen's Park 0. The second half of the final action of today with Stephen Craigan, Derek Ferguson and Stuart Mitchell.
Thank you very much, Liam. Both sides back on the pitch at Fir Park, and Queen's Park ready to get us underway for the second 45 minutes. Rory Payton has a look, standing on the centre spot towards the referee Stephen McLean, who checks the watches and blows the whistle for the second half. Motherwell in control in this one with a 1-goal lead, and in control in Group G as it stands, with a healthy lead at the top of the table thanks to Jonathan Abika's goal in the first half. Queen's Park looking to climb their way back into this one. Positives against Premiership opposition, but they will want points from this match. Keep with their philosophy and style of play. Ball out of play in front of the Motherwell manager Stuart Kettlewell. Just organises the front line as Motherwell in there. Amber and Claret will shoot from right to left into the Davy Cooper stand. Queen's Park in their red jerseys, black shorts, black socks, going from left to right into the Tommy McLean stand, which normally houses away supporters, empty at Fir Park for this League Cup clash. Paul McGinn takes possession inside the Queen's Park area. Forward now for Slattery, quick 1-2, back to Abika. McGinn continues his run towards the penalty area. Was he pulled? Laid off for Spittle, and he lifts that one over the crossbar high and off the advertising above the goal. It was a lovely move again though from Motherwell. Some of their build-up play has been very fascinating to watch, and it's loads quick 1-2 passes, and another key man from that was Callum Slattery again, Derek.
Yes, one-touch football. It was brilliant from McGinn. That was a couple of 1-2s and then fed into the forward area, and the lay off to Spittle. Spittle's better than that. He should be hitting the target, again, he's just leaning back, but again, it's that, you can look at it, yeah, it's brilliant one-touch football, but Queen's Park, I've just says it, they've got to find another way, but they've got to learn as well, that in those areas that they've got to be alive to that situation, got to defend far better than that, because it was so easy, that 2-1-2s, lay off, just the edge of the box and a free hit to goal.
I mean, how often has Callum Slattery played that wall pass throughout the game? You know, they're just rolling it into him. McGinn's ran off him, O'Donnell's ran off him. Very clever.
Spittle picks up, Obika drags it back, Slattery clips it towards Swari in the penalty area. This near side as Motherwell go from right to left, but he gets himself in a tangle. Somehow the ball breaks. It's Wilkinson. Can he find space? It's blocked by Tizard, and Queen's Park will scramble to get it away. In comes Shane Blaney. Claimed both ways for a free kick, nothing awarded. Motherwell pick up possession on the edge of that final third again. The ball breaks off Louis Longridge, and it'll go behind for Motherwell. They're the first corner I make of the game. There'll be an opportunity to pack that penalty area for Stuart Kettlewell's side to try and add to their 1-goal lead.
It's a really aggressive start, isn't it, in the second half, and using that little physicality. You know, Queen's Park, they've got to stand up to that.
Pat Swari is on the corner, just to the left of our position in the main stand, near side arc. Slattery there to offer the short option. You'll imagine Swari's corner will be an outswinger, left-footed. He raises the right arm with the white sweatband on there. And over it goes, and it's headed away quite comfortably by Payton. Spittle lifts it back towards the attack. O'Donnell takes it down on the chest, back to goal. Lovely back heel with the right foot. Lennon Miller, his back to goal now, tries to turn. Now Barry Hepburn will dribble away with the ball into space in the middle. He has players breaking forward, but he takes an extra touch. It's Paul McGinn who comes in, steals the ball. He tries to stab it through towards the two strikers. Slattery now picks up possession of the loose ball. Out to this near side, has a look. There's no amber and claret around, just red of Queen's Park, and Longridge will take the ball away as Dom Thomas clears that one upfield, aiming for Payton. He can't take it under the chest. It's Casey with a long range strike from some way out. It's right down the throat of Callum Ferry, and I think there may be a few teammates that are unhappy with that, because Motherwell had plenty forward there. Stephen Craigan,
I always wonder how many times in his career, even in training, he's even scored from there. Never mind trying it in a game. But listen, Motherwell have been really aggressive. They've stepped on, they've out-muscled Queen's Park. I wouldn't say they're bullying them, but they're really starting to dominate them. So, you know, I mentioned it earlier about Queen's Park playing in the Championship. This is going to be like a Championship game. It's going to be physical, it's going to be competitive. Can they cope? I think up to this point, I think they've struggled.
Yeah, it looks as if Motherwell try to put the game to bed, you know, get that second, you know, then they can, if they get that second, then they can go and enjoy themselves. But at the moment, it's just that aggression, that physicality, and it's interesting, as good a footballer side that Queen's Park are, you know, you've got to have other elements to your game. So it's interesting to see how they'll stand up to this.
obviously the Motherwell defender keeping an eye on the other action in the League Cup from early in the week, from that halfway line goal, Edinburgh City and Kelty Hearts. But that one easy to take for Callum Ferry. Queen's Park will now look to build an attack from this near right side. They have a throw in just about in line with the Motherwell penalty area as Liam Kelly just organises the back line in front. Longridge had that earlier head knock and was down for quite some time, back playing, and has the ball above his head for the throw in. Thomas can't take it under control. Motherwell get it away in the box through Dan Casey. Queen's Park will pick up again. Jarrett in field. Turner unable to find the pass, and just a bit of miscommunication in the back line of the Steelmen there as Shane Blaney just plays it to safety, but maybe had a couple of other options. Motherwell 1, Queen's Park 0. Obika with the goal just before the half-hour mark. 50 minutes currently on the clock.
I think Queen's Park need a little bit more from John Thomas. They need a little bit more from Barry Hepburn. It's okay keeping your width and being out wide, but can you come inside? Can you influence the game? They probably haven't had enough moments.
Turner, number 20 on his back for Queen's Park. Thompson back for Tizard. And now Charlie Fox. And you remember from scoring that incredible looping volley at the end of last season, the championship title decided against Dundee. Here he is on the ball again. He's back in the Queen's Park half low. Jack Turner shows in the middle in the centre circle and helps move the ball back out to that far side for Cameron Bruce to advance. Light blue boots, lays it off to Hepburn on the touchline. He takes it onto the right foot, fakes the cross, second time turns onto the left, back onto the right. Can he loop it over? Headed away by the Motherwell defence. Spittle takes over, and again Motherwell look to use that advantage with the gaps at the back from the committed Queen's Park players. O'Donnell has a look for Wilkinson, a deflection with the outstretched leg. The challenge from Wilkinson, but it's Fox doing well. But he's playing in front of the goalkeeper. Obika stabs it towards goal. Incredible over the crossbar. Queen's Park somehow survive. Charlie Fox rolled the ball from the touchline on the far side across the face of Ferry in the 6-yard area, He took his eye off it. Obika was there. He slid in, and somehow again Obika can't add his name further to the score sheet, and it remains incredibly Motherwell 1, Queen's Park 0 with 52 minutes played.
It's quite incredible, that, isn't it? Do you know, Fox does ever so well to get to the byline, and you can see that he's going to. I think the keeper should be on his toes. I don't know if you agree or not, Stephen, but the keeper's got to be alive to that situation. Looking at his defender, he's struggling to get there. He does get there. He should be reading that and getting to it a little bit quicker. But when it rolled past him, I thought Obika's just going to put this in the back of the net. But Lascar, tackle there, but a credible moment that.
I mean, for all the good football and good moments the game has spoken about, that was one of the most untidy passes to play.
Now Slattery could be through. Obika on the left footed, drills it towards goal, and a sliding challenge blocks that one out. It was Will Tizard who's back to his feet, just shaking off a little bit of a knock as he was at full stretch to turn that one behind. Another Motherwell corner, and these chances for the home side piling up again in the second half.
It's a fantastic challenge from Tizard. He's hurt himself in the process, but you had to get there. I thought that was just going to nestle inside that far left hand corner, but good defending. They've been asking the question so far. They're standing up to it.
Swari, the left back, will be taking the corner in this near bottom left side again, but there will be a substitution made by Motherwell. It looks like Callum Slattery coming across to receive some instructions, and it's Obika who will be withdrawn. But one thing for the Motherwell supporters, they've certainly seen a lot of chances for Jonathan Obika in the first few League Cup games. The man who joined on loan from Morecambe in January, now signed permanently. Yet the post and crossbar against Queen of the South. He scored against Elgin, he scored here against Queen's Park, but he could have had one or two more. And coming onto the pitch is the number 30, Ferry, onto the field. And Swari will ready the corner. He clips it towards the penalty spot. 3 waiting there. It's looping into the air and hangs there for Callum Ferry to come out and claim. But just a word, Derek Ferguson, on John Obika. I mean, some performance, I will say. I didn't describe it, but there was that sliding challenge that did make it a difficult chance as he put the ball over the crossbar just a few moments ago, but certainly in amongst the chances.
Yeah, take away that. I mean, the header that should have been, a goal, certainly, but he's a handful. He puts himself about. He's got that physicality, and as the games went on, I'm surprised he took him off, because he was just getting a little bit of joy.
There could be another here. Spittle swings the ball in, aiming for the Motherwell substitute Ferry, but it's up into the air. McGinn will head it back. Payton will try to pick it up, but unable to do anything with it. And Motherwell will take the ball again. Slattery, Papswari stabs it forward, and Queen's Park will be awarded the throw. A word on the performance from you, Stephen Craigan.
Well, he has to be more clinical for me. In the Scottish Premiership, you're not going to get 5 chances in the game and take one. You have to be a much better conversion rate than that. So there's a little bit of work to do in front of goal. His build-up play is good. He was a good focal point playing with his back to goal, but as a number 9, you've got to find the back of the net more often.
And now Queen's Park on the attack on the near side. It's Thomas driving into the penalty area. It's low, and there's Hepburn, who got a touch there for Motherwell. It could have been Liam Kelly, but it looks like Stephen O'Donnell is taking the applause. A clap on the back of the head. It was almost an open goal to be tapped in at the back post, but Stephen O'Donnell saves the Steelmen and turns that one away for the Queen's Park throw, and it remains with 55 and a half played. Motherwell 1, Queen's Park 0.
That's brilliant defending, but in the butt is, I think, Hepburn, he sees it all the way. He's coming in at that back post. I think he's going to attack that. He's waiting on it, and it gives O'Donnell the opportunity to get back and clear.
Payton now picks it up left side of the penalty area, rolls the ball, squeezes it through to the 6-yard area where Callum Slattery can clear away. O'Donnell throws himself at that. Bruce takes for the Spiders. He continues towards the byline, gets the cross off of Lennon Miller and behind for a Queen's Park corner, and another opportunity for the big centre backs Will Tizard and Charlie Fox, who's 6'3", to get up into that penalty area and try and cause Motherwell problems. If Queen's Park were to score here and level it, Motherwell would surely be kicking themselves with the chances that they've had. The corner will be taken from that top right side of the pitch, far side, right-footed in-swinger towards the front post. It's headed away by Blair Spittle. And there could be a break on for the Steelmen. Slattery tries to curl that one around. Wilkinson chases. Bruce gets the touch. He's in trouble. Up in the air. It's 2-on-1 for Motherwell. Wilkinson across. Looks for Ferry, and it's half cleared away by Queen's Park. and now Barry Hepburn will be able to take it and carry it away upfield. This game is becoming so open, Stephen Craigan.
Well, it's been brilliant. You know, back to the Barry Hepburn chance, a little bit of conviction, Derek's exactly what you're looking for. And then Connor Wilkinson looking for his first goal at Motherwell. He's through, possibly at a tight angle. Why is he not taking a shot? He's trying to pass the ball, he's trying to pass the buck, take responsibility and go for your goals.
Stuart Kettlewell's first new face of the summer transfer window. Scored in a friendly earlier this month. He had the opportunity, but Motherwell keep the ball alive. The throw on the far side, Slattery back to O'Donnell, who moments ago with that saving challenge, as Barry Hepburn looked like he had the goal at his mercy, and it remains 1-0 to Motherwell. That quick play again, Wilkinson looking for the layoff to Spittle. Queen's Park thrashed the ball away upfield. That's over the head and well beyond Rory Payton, who's been doing that job of a difficult lone striker up there chasing everything. And in the second half it's looked tougher, and Motherwell getting more grip on this League Cup Group G game.
You're right about Wilkinson there. Yeah, he should take the shot, Stephen, but going to balance it off. You know, the young boy Bruce, I've been very impressed with him with his, 17 you were saying earlier. You know, not much of him, but he's wiry, he's strong, tenacious, and he loves to defend by the looks of him. You know, looks a good one.
See, just on the missed opportunities Motherwell have had, those two little spurts from Queen's Park are just reminders that you pass the chances up. There's only a one goal in it. You can't afford any lapses of concentration or moments of being sloppy. But Queen's Park obviously know that as well, so it keeps them alive.
July 2021, these two met at Firhill in the League Cup when Queen's Park were ground sharing with Partick Thistle, and that was a narrow 1-0 win for Motherwell, with Stephen Lawless scoring the goal. And Queen's Park looking to go one better than that one and get on the score sheet here. Barry Hepburn making the move forward, the tricky winger, dispossessed by Paul McGinn, but Queen's Park will still have the throw. There will be young Cameron Bruce, as Derek spoke about a couple of seconds ago, coming forward to take. Last campaign only came on as a sub against Hamilton Accies in 90 minutes in the Challenge Cup against Wraith Rovers, but you couldn't tell that looking at his performance and the composure of someone so young in defence so far. With almost an hour played, Motherwell 1, Queen's Park 0. And Queen's Park will have committed a foul here in the edge of the area. Stephen McLean unhappy, and he's just pointing around the pitch, I think, and calling back the midfielder. And there is a yellow card for Patrick Jarrett, so he'll find himself a little bit unlucky with earlier challenges in the first half. I would expect, Stephen, that he's found himself in the referee's book.
Well, it certainly looks as if it's a little bit innocuous. I think he just sticks a lazy leg in trying to nick the ball. It didn't seem sinister to me, yet there's been other sinister challenges in the game that have went unpunished, and I think Stephen McLean could easily have let that one go as well. I don't think that's a tackle people will be talking about if he didn't give a yellow card.
No, and that's what it probably is. It's a lazy challenge, but there's no intent, to harm the opponent. And you go back to the Soiree, where he's a bit reckless, so sometimes I find it strange, sometimes they come to certain decisions, but I didn't think that warranted a booking.
Robin Veldman's side, the new Queen's Park head coach, knows a goal will bring his side in level terms. They struggled to find the net against East Fife in that 0-0 draw last Saturday, lost out in penalties too, but they created plenty of chances. There's still time, a half hour remains for them to try and get points from this one, but Motherwell will just want that goal to consolidate really that performance that they've had so far in this game, and just try and cement their control a bit more. Queen's Park have a free kick on the far side, a late challenge. Slattery will plead his case towards the referee for his team. Cameron Bruce will play the free kick back for Fox, and they'll lead off to Tizard as the Spiders look to build from the back. Jarrett spins away from Blaney. Thomas dribbles across the field of play, named in the Championship Team of the Season for the last campaign. Wilkinson picks up for Motherwell in the middle. Slattery, he has a look wide right. There's no run coming from O'Donnell yet as he tries to make up ground on that far side. McGinn will hook it into the channel. Fox will go across, and a heavy touch means he's forced out. And the throw-in will be Motherwell's. Blair Spittle across to take. He had that chance earlier too. 2 goals in Tuesday night's draw at Queen of the South with a penalty win. Here he is on the ball inside the penalty area, rides the challenge, plenty of options, across deflection, turn behind for another Motherwell corner, and Blair Spittle doing what he does, driving in such a tight area with so many red Queen's Park jerseys around, somehow manages to find the space, and it'll be he who takes the corner on the top left side of the pitch. Motherwell 1, Queen's Park 0.
He's such a clever footballer, Blair Spittle. You know, his composure, his awareness, just able to skip past people, his way to pass. I think he's been Motherwell's top goal scorer this season with 3 goals, so he's got a big season and a big campaign ahead, but certainly been impressive this afternoon.
Outswinger with the right foot, hung up in the 6-yard area, but easy for Callum Ferry to take. Played in every Queen's Park match last season, and there's a challenge there as play continues, and the Motherwell support unhappy with that. The ball will end up in the arms of Liam Kelly, but he's just organising things. Lennon Miller is back to his feet, and Stuart Kettlewell had something to say after the earlier game in midweek with well, he described a horrendous tackle on Miller that led to a frantic end against Queen of the South on Tuesday, and Ricky Lammy being sent off for 2 yellow cards and involved again there. He was unhappy with that one. Long ball forward from the Motherwell defence. Fox comes across to this near side now, and he's under pressure, and it goes out for the Motherwell throw. Motherwell with the throw in to take, but there will be a change for Queen's Park, and it will be the number 6 Jack Strong coming on. He's one who played in the midfield against East Fife last Saturday, and it will be a double change as Tommy Robson coming on too, and he will replace Cameron and Bruce, and there'll be a straight swap, it appears, at left back with the 17-year-old going off. But as he makes his way off the field, Derek, one of you mentioned earlier, coming to Fir Park, a Premiership opposition, you're really impressed with the performance he put in for Queen's Park this afternoon.
Yeah, a lot to like about him, and I've obviously been talking about defensively. You know, he's quick, he reads the game well, very tenacious, but he's used to the ball. You know, very rarely as he gave the ball away this afternoon. So yeah, young lad, maybe a bit of tiredness creeping into his game, you know, coming up in 65 minutes. He can be proud of what he's produced this afternoon, that's for sure.
Swari with the throw, gets it back, and then charged down as Longridge tries to take it away. Hit upfield by Dom Thomas, and then Miller hops and brings it down with the right boot. Slattery being forced away by the Queen's Park substitute just on. Robson is charging at O'Donnell, leaves it for Miller. Payton working back, Motherwell sliding the ball about slickly here. It's Casey, he joins the attack now, laid off to the near side for Blaney. Everyone abar Paul McGinn up in that Queen's Park territory, near half of the pitch. Here's O'Donnell, Blaney, Swari's free down in this near side touchline. His back's towards the new Motherwell left back, and it'll go towards that far right side towards Ferry. He'll try to take it into his path. Fox there again, gets in front of the Motherwell attacker and takes a touch and turns. It's now Spong up for Hepburn, drops the shoulder and runs in field, but can't keep control. Miller takes over. Now Spong again in the red of Queen's Park. It's Thompson, he goes down, clipped by the heels of Slattery, and now Queen's Park will have the free kick. 65 on the clock. It's Motherwell 1, Queen's Park 0. Jonathan Abika with the only goal of the game.
Just disrupts play. I'm looking at your face, Steve. He's made a number of those challenges, you know, and it just disrupts Queen's Park. You know, they're in the groove, they're ready to get themselves forward, and he comes, you know, and just, it's a little done here and there. I think it is quite, he's getting away with it. So,
and it's Callum Slattery we're talking about. Continually, when the ball turns over, he just stops play. Yeah. Always stops play.
Most yellow cards last season in all competitions. He said he's looking to stamp that out of his game, but he doesn't want to lose what he's got, but he's done a good job of it so far today.
I mean, I shouldn't say that, but I quite like that at times, because he senses that his team might be under a little bit of pressure, and he just takes the pressure off, and it's just a little, you know, a little obstruction here, you know, a little block, you know. Sometimes it's part of the game, but when you've done it, you're doing it so often, then you put yourself obviously at risk of picking up a card.
He's got more to his game with that sensational free kick you may remember down at Rugby Park last season.
I can play, that's for sure.
Lennon Miller dispossessed. Queen's Park have it through Robson inside the Motherwell area. Forward he goes, central, looks right, Jack Turner's there, closed down, moves it to Thomas on this near right side. The overlap's coming from Longridge. Two experienced players. Thomas hits it forward. Swari did that hit an arm. The Queen's Park players are certainly claiming Swari immediately put the arms behind his back. There's a cluster of players around the referee Stephen McLean in red for Queen's Park, but the decision is corner. They'll have an opportunity to attack, but not the one they wanted. What was your view of that one, Stephen Craigan?
I think it hits his arm, but Dom Thomas is kicking the ball half a yard away from him. There's not an awful lot Soiree can do. I think the ball travels 10 yards and it just hits his hand if it's outstretched, yes, but I think Steve McLean's got it right.
Corner from this near right side, in towards the front post. It's clipped off the crossbar. Chance may still be there for Payton. Thrashes it into the side netting, and Queen's Park, not for the first time, coming close to an equaliser. A lovely floated corner into the front post. It may have been Hepburn who just got his toe to that at the front post, Derek.
I think it was Thompson.
Was it Thompson?
I think it was number 8, yeah, but it was lovely because he just drifts into that area, and Thomas doesn't fire it, just floats in, and again, it allows him to get the chance because there's not too much patience, just guides it, and ever so well, just comes off the top of the bar. And then there's that opportunity, the back post at Hepburn there, he just smashed it, but again,
I think it was Rory Payton. Who hasn't had an awful lot of service this afternoon. That's probably why he snatched at that one.
And you're just saying that, Stephen, just one goal in it, it can turn ever so quickly.
Slattery hit the crossbar in the first half for Motherwell. Queen's Park hitting the crossbar there. Blair Spittle was down, just getting back to his feet as he was collided into. And as I look towards the referee, as play continues, and Queen's Park will have the throw. 20 minutes remain, and it's now Motherwell making the change. It looks like Harry Payton coming on, receiving some instructions on the left from Stuart Kettlewell. They know themselves well from time at Ross County. It will be Miller who's coming off, who receives a full applause from the Fir Park crowd. Another impressive performance from the young midfielder, and he receives a handshake from Stuart Kettlewell. And Harry Payton will come in and do the job that he does in that midfield area alongside Spittle and Slattery. We mentioned only 20 minutes to go. Robin Veldman, recently appointment to Queen's Park, and all that coaching experience from the Ajax youth system, and Anderlecht recently, an interim charge. Wants something from this game. Ferry is cool on the edge of his area, bit of keepy uppy, and gives the ball to Longridge. He's driving forward now over the halfway line, tries to slot it through. Has a look towards the referee, he felt like he was fouled, nothing coming. Payton, his first possession. Longridge comes across and he gets the throw, the decision that time. And now the Motherwell coaching staff getting involved as the heat rises as this game comes to a close in the final 20 minutes. Hotly contested, there's big points at stake in the League Cup. Motherwell 1, Queen's Park 0. Abika, the only goal scorer of the game.
Yeah, it's finely poised. Motherwell know if they get the next goal, it's game's over. If Queen's Park get it, suddenly it comes alive, and then they'll think they can go on and get a winner. But I think the reason why they brought Harry Payton on, Harry's got a decent turn of pace. If Motherwell have to drop a little bit deeper and play in their counter attack, it means he can carry them up the pitch a little bit more.
Hepburn looking to get onto a long ball on the far side. McGinn comes across, and he'll see that one over the touchline, and that'll be a free kick for Liam Kelly to take.
They've done well, Queen's Park, in the second half, because they were under siege, certainly that first 10 minutes of the second half. They stood up to it well, shown a little bit of character. And I was wondering, have they got that little bit of kind of feistiness about them? I think they have. They've showed that. They're a lovely footballing side, but they're willing to dig deep, put the foot in a little bit as well, as we can see at the moment, because it looked as if they were going to be blew away early in that second half, but they're having a great spell at the moment.
There's a strike coming through from Dom Thomas. He's central, quite some way out in front of the D, and that comfortably taken by the experienced Motherwell goalkeeper. Dom Thomas this season will be 9 years since he made his debut for Motherwell against St Mirren, and 40 matches here, a few years at the club. Queen's Park have had their chances though, don't forget that. Motherwell also had plenty of chances, but only the one goal. Jonathan Abika taking one of 3 chances, you could say, that he had. Motherwell could be ahead more comfortably. Queen's Park could be level though. It's been that kind of game, so open, both teams putting that emphasis on attacking and playing with some nice possession football, some quick movement to cut through either defence, as Payton pushes Thomas away back towards the Queen's Park goal inside the Spiders half. A lovely turn away from Ferry into the Centre circle, the pass through for Thompson. Queen's Park keep it. Here's Charlie Fox. Robson gives it back to the centre defender.
I think the longer the game has gone, the more Queen's Park have grown in belief. It's as if, they haven't managed to shake us off. They're now making changes there in the ascendancy, Queen's Park, and can they take the opportunity when it comes?
Ball back towards Kelly. Payton will chase it down. Quick move of the right outside foot from Kelly, and he'll lift that one up towards the centre circle. Quite far away from Ferry Lope, and Queen's Park will have plenty of time to bring it down. Robin Veldman will be certainly taking a lot of positives from this performance against Premiership opposition in Motherwell at Fir Park, but he'll want more than that as Stephen O'Donnell cynically brings down Barry Hepburn, and he'll be into the referee's book with the yellow card now. And that's just a signal of the frustration Motherwell are maybe starting to feel with Queen's Park really getting their foot on the ball again, Derek.
Yeah, you've got that sense that Motherwell, they played extremely well that first 10-15 minutes of the second half. Didn't maybe get the rewards, but at the moment Queens, they can sense they can get something out of this game. Whether they sense there's a bit of tiredness, a little bit of fatigue in that Motherwell side, I'm not so sure, but certainly the last 5-10 minutes, maybe one or two of the changes, a little bit more belief in them, but I just think they've got to find something, just that little bit extra in that final third.
Thomas swings it in from that deep central area. Hepburn brings it down, and there's a challenge in the box. Jack Turner goes down. That looked like a penalty, nothing awarded. Payton continues, shot blocked by Swari, and it goes behind for a corner. A second penalty claim for Queen's Park, nothing given again that time, and it's a corner for Queen's Park with a score at Motherwell 1, Queen's Park 0. Your thoughts on that one, Stephen Craigan?
Well, I don't know if it's desperation from the Queen's Park players trying to appeal, but certainly I think it was a Turner or Thompson, whoever was driving through, they were driving at pace. They'd moved the ball off its line. There was a leg come in from a Motherwell player. Whether there was contact or whether he was trying to initiate contact, we don't get the luxury of having a second viewing, but certainly Steve McLean was right on the ball.
Left-footed, swung in towards the back post. Kelly unconvincing there. He flaps at it, and Spong tries to bring the ball down. Handball was the decision, and Motherwell will have the free kick inside their own penalty area. Derek, you were a couple of inches closer to that one. Did you see that penalty shout any differently?
Well, you never know, where it's going to go. The referee was in a good position. He's only 2 or 3 yards away, so obviously thought it was maybe a little bit of desperation, maybe maybe going to ground a little bit too easy, but you can see why. They've gave an awful lot to this game. They've played ever so well. I think they're just desperate to get a goal. Obviously that East Fife game, they had numerous chances. Missed a couple of sitters, if you like. I watched the highlights, a couple of headers that they should have buried, a couple of 1v1s with the goalkeeper, and for all their good play, if they're going to come away with nothing, I think they'd at least like to come away with at least a goal, something to show for their efforts, because they have played ever so well this afternoon.
Fox with a direct ball from the left back position, from the centre back towards Thomas, picks it up before it goes out of play on this near side byline. Quick feet, knocks Swari down. It's back towards Thompson. Thomas swings it towards the back post. O'Donnell there, tussling with Payton, manages to get it the second attempt, gets it away over that top right side, far side of the Fir Park pitch, and has a little shout towards his defensive teammates, unhappy at just that relaxed manner of dealing with the cross. Queen's Park fans find their voice. Can they urge their team towards an equalising goal? 15 minutes to play here. Motherwell 1, Queen's Park 0. Fox up to join the attack. A sliding challenge comes in from 2 Motherwell players either side, and the free kick awarded, and it'll be another opportunity for Dom Thomas to come across and swing in a set piece delivery.
There's no doubt there's a bit of apprehension, isn't it, around the stadium from the Motherwell fans. The Motherwell bench, Stuart Kettlewell's a little bit animated, and the players are shouting and waving their arms about. It's amazing how you can just sense and see momentum changing during a game.
Panic is setting.
Another sub for Robin Veldman in Queen's Park. Aaron Healy will come on and he'll replace Barry Hepburn, and as he makes his way off the pitch, he will be thinking about that earlier chance that Stephen O'Donnell did superbly to slide in and prevent. Hepburn saw the goal open, but the last ditch challenge preserved Motherwell's lead at 1-0. Thomas to take the free kick, far side, left footed, the ball's high, and that's well over and bounces and lands beyond the byline. And with that kind of opportunity at Fir Park with 15 minutes to go, he really needs to be doing better with that delivery with such an opportunity, Derek.
Absolutely. I mean, the quality that Thomas has got, and he's played well this afternoon. You know, all you're asking to feed it into an area, you know, maybe between that penalty spot and the 6-yard box, and you know, you can see what he's trying to do, but he overhits it, too much whip in it. No, just feed it in. You know, you go back to the chance that he played into Thompson. It was a lovely ball from a corner kick, just floated in that front post area. But when you're putting the opposition under real pressure, and you've got another opportunity, you know, to put it into a real dangerous area. You know, I was going to say it would tear my hair out, but as you know, I don't own much here at the moment.
I wouldn't have said anything, Derek. You got a cap on, I would never have known.
I know, well
you said the
that's
moment.
why I've got a cap.
Well, you said at the moment you've got something planned in the near future.
Yes, I've been in talks with Faddy, so I might be off to somewhere.
Queen's
Get a
Park.
holiday out it as well. Never, are you kidding me on?
Meanwhile, away from Derek's head and onto the pitch, Dom Thomas has a free kick to take again, near side in that central position, just inside the Motherwell half. He clips it towards the right, but it's heavy as Charlie Fox was looking to get on the end of it.
That's such a hard execution. You know, he's trying to chip the ball about 10 yards when there's absolutely no space in behind to do so. Possibly there you have to move it. Just try and get an angle, try and move the Motherwell defence, and then maybe try and feed something in defeat. But I think that was ambitious.
Yeah, it's really frustrating. You know, the free kick they had wide left, he overhits it. That one, he just tried to be too clever. You know, as you're saying, just move the ball 5-10 yards, you know, into a wider area, you know, and get a better angle, better crossing, and let players go and attack the ball. That's just a couple of great opportunities wasted.
Kelly with the goal kick up towards Wilkinson. Longridge continues with the challenge. Spittle takes over, the ball drops and breaks through to Wilkinson, cleared away by Tizard. Queen's Park pick up possession. Into the centre circle, Dan Casey steps forward and allows the Spiders no way to crawl through. Here's Tommy Robson, over 100 Queen's Park appearances now as he makes his way across the halfway line on the far side. Queen's Park going from left to right. Sliding challenge from McGinn, who's been solid at the back as well. A couple of changes from Stuart Kettlewell to the back line that started against Queen of the South in the 3-3 draw on Tuesday night. And McGinn finds O'Donnell, who's putting in a performance that will make Stuart Kettlewell think about that position for the season ahead too. Seth earlier mentioned how tough he's found the last 18 months, but from the way he's played today, he's found his feet again and has certainly staked his claim to be part of Kettlewell's side for the Steelmen in the Scottish Premiership. Here he is on the ball inside the Queen's Park half, tries to drag it away, gets stuck to his heel. Jack Thompson takes over. Fox is having to race to beat McGinn there for that one, just in front of the defensive zone for Queen's Park. They want to get this forward with just over 10 minutes to play, and it's given away. Spittle threads it through, right side of the penalty area, back for Blair. Spittle driven low but comfortably taken by Callum Ferry, diving to his right, no trouble there. And again there's Wilkinson throwing the right foot out, and then off the crossbar from Spittle. Well, Ferry, he's asking why the play wasn't stopped. He tried to roll it quickly. Wilkinson stretched a foot out. The Queen's Park defence looked bemused. Play continued, and Spittle lobbed it over the Queen's Park goalkeeper, and Fir Park held its breath. It clipped the crossbar and went over, but it remains Motherwell 1, Queen's Park 0.
Well, there's one person on the pitch who took a huge deep breath, and it's the referee, because he would have had a decision to make if that ball ends up in the back of the net. He was just telling Callum Ferry to get on with it, because I'm not too sure whether he witnessed what happened, missed it, but certainly there was interference from the Motherwell centre forward Wilkinson on the goalkeeper, and it should have been a free kick.
Queen's Park restart, under 10 minutes to find a leveller against Motherwell. They have a throw, midway point on the far side, inside the Motherwell half. Robson takes, brought down by Thomas, looks in field. Jack Spong, the substitute, stabs it across for Longridge. He aims for goal and drills it right into the palms of the crouching Liam Kelly. He got his body behind that one, not troubling. Possibly just signs creeping in of Queen's Park frustration, Derek, about the way they've played in this first 81 minutes of the match, and they've not been able to find a goal, especially after that 0-0 draw away to East Fife last weekend.
Yeah, and they've been excellent the last 10-15 minutes. Just a little bit of frustration from Longridge. He's in a good area, to put the ball into the box, but opts for a long range effort. You ain't going to beat Kelly from there. It's a decent enough strike, but I think just play the percentage ball, keep possession high up there, keep them under pressure. As we've said, Motherwell have looked pretty panicky, and what's happened from that? Kelly gets the ball, Motherwell up the park, we've got a corner kick.
Spittle doing tremendously there as Tizard tried to shield the ball out unsuccessfully. The desire from Blair Spittle to win it back has given his side a corner. Swari up to take on this near bottom left side, left-footed outswinger towards the back post, headed away by Payton, and he did a good job of doing so as Stephen O'Donnell was on top of him, and referee Stephen McLean saw that one after not seeing the earlier interference from Wilkinson as Ferry tried to roll the ball out, and Queen's Park will have the free kick. Short it goes to Spong, back to Ferry. Queen's Park goalkeeper Callum Ferry up towards Blaney. He was under it in the air. Swari comes across to help out. He just flicks it down to Dan Casey. McGinn high, searching for Stephen O'Donnell. Cleared away, picked up by Spittle in the middle. Lifts it over into the penalty area. Ferry chases. The Queen's Park goalkeeper claims time running out for Queen's Park.
We've heard an awful lot, or possibly some doubters, about the Viaplay Cup, the League Cup being played at this stage of the season, but this has been a great game. If this was a friendly this afternoon, the intensity wouldn't be anywhere near what it is now. People are chasing, they're running, they're harrying, going right to the end, because there's a competitive edge to the game. So I've always liked it at this stage of the season.
Queen's Park advancing players forward. Every outfield player now in the Motherwell half. Tizard has it in the centre circle on his right foot, plays it to this near side. Longridge again, just linking up is unsuccessful as he's looking for Jack Turner, and Kelly will be in no hurry to get this ball moving. Double header today in the League Cup. You heard live commentary from East End Park. Dunfermline 0, Kilmarnock 2 early in the afternoon. 2 p.m. Sports Sim tomorrow. Bring you all the sport chat and updates from the 151st Open Championship. It's Queen's Park look for a free kick on Rory Payton, who's down again. Plenty of heads turned towards Stephen McLean. No sound of the whistle, and the Spiders will press on. Tizard has it in the back line, looks to come to this near side, ups against, goes back for Fox. A sloppy possession. Spittle intercepts, links up with Ferry. The sliding challenge coming in from Tommy Robson. The substitute will save Queen's Park there, and Motherwell will have the throw, and Motherwell have the opportunity for a double change. And coming on, midfielder Barry Maguire and Nathan McGinley will come on as well, and that will be a very, very positive sight for the Steelmen with all his injury troubles. And Connor Wilkinson applauds the home support as he comes off. One of the new Stuart Kettlewell signings for the Steelmen, able to show a performance in front of the new following that will support him this season. What have you made of his first home match in front of the home fans, Stephen?
Well, clearly there's work to do for the both of them. They're getting up to speed.
Him and Abika. Wilkinson and Abika.
Yeah, I think so. I think both of them have a little bit of work to do. There's high expectations as the Motherwell centre forward now after Kevin Van Veen last season, so it's nice to have linked up play. I keep saying it, they'll be spoken about with the goal return, and I think Pap Swari has shown he will be a good addition. There's still a little bit of work to do with him getting up to speed, but certainly both can be pleased with their performance this afternoon, but certainly there's a wee bit more to come.
They've worked ever so hard, but I'd like to see the two of them stay on a little bit longer, to get that partnership. What is clear to see out of the two of them, they're not a Van Veen. That's sure, but what you've got is you've got a work ethic, you've got a desire, and if the two of them strike up a good partnership, then they could be a potent force. But that's how I was a little bit disappointed when Abika went off pretty early in the second half. I'd just like to see that partnership grow a little bit, but Stephen's right, there's a lot of work to be done, that's for sure.
So Pap Swari, the left back, going off for Nathan McGinley to come on, who's been out for over 16 months, didn't feature last campaign, but he's been working his way towards a recovery and received Great applause from the Motherwell supporters, and Liam McLeish has just came on for Will Tizard as Queen's Park go in search of an equalising goal. Plenty of changes in the League Cup action here. Motherwell on the attack, far side. Stephen O'Donnell looks to find a way around Dom Thomas. He stands in the way strong, and Motherwell will have the throw. Young Liam McLeish, only 18-year-old, came on for his debut against East Fife. Robin Veldman again getting the young players into his side, part of that overall vision from the head coach and director of football, Marion Bucher. And Queen's Park look to hit Motherwell here on the counter. Across the halfway line is Healy. He looks infield, a little layoff back from Thompson, looking for Turner, sliding challenge. Queen's Park want a free kick, nothing awarded. Motherwell will try and loop the ball in behind through Slattery, but it's too heavy as it takes a bounce off the Fir Park surface. Spittle won't get anywhere near it. Queen's Park throw, and you can hear what those Queen's Park supporters think. They had a couple of penalty claims earlier in the second half, a couple of claims as they're on the attack through the middle of the Fir Park pitch, with Stephen McLean not awarding free kicks.
That was a good challenge, Stuart. That the ball was there to be won, and he clearly gets the ball, but he uses his physicality. He makes contact with the player. Yeah, of course it's a contact sport, but sometimes I love to see a good tackle, and that was a good tackle for me.
Ball out of play. Motherwell 1, Queen's Park 0. Just a couple of minutes remaining on the clock. 8-8 about to hit. Obika with the only goal in the first half. He had a couple of other chances. He could have made this a healthier lead for Motherwell, but Queen's Park also could be on the score sheet. A couple of chances. Stephen O'Donnell with a last-ditch challenge at the back post, preventing an opportunity for Hepburn, and from a corner struck the crossbar. Will they get another? Will they take anything from this game, or will it just be positives about the performance and no points to show for it? Will Motherwell strengthen their grip on Group G? Lovely play, Ferry for Slattery, looking for Payton, and again that one-touch passing, but that one just a bit heavy, and the ball rolls into the penalty area for the Queen's Park goalkeeper to take. Callum Ferry now rolls out to Robson. He carries, he points forward, wanting his teammates to advance upfield towards McLeish. McGinn does well. Payton lays it off. Out wide now for Healy from the number 8. He's on the ground, he gets back up, takes the touch. Somehow Jack Thompson clips it towards the back post. He wasn't ready for it, and it's wasted. Motherwell now will look to strike. Ferry going down in the centre circle. Some bemused looks towards Stephen McLean, but play continues. Healy again. This game continuing in that open fashion. Payton at the heels of Healy. The Queen's Park forward clipped, and now the whistle goes. Queen's Park have another free kick, and this one in a more dangerous territory than the previous two that were wasted. It's on the right side of the penalty area as we look from the main stand, and it may be that last opportunity inside the 90 minutes with only 30 seconds to go for Queen's Park to try and equalise. Motherwell 1, Queen's Park 0.
You're right, Steve, innit? We don't need friendlies at this stage. Competitive games in this League Cup, because I don't know about you, I'm a wee bit on edge here. You're not getting into the last couple of minutes, which is brilliant. You can feel that for the crowd as well. Terrific game, but it ain't over yet, that's for sure. And if they can, one little piece of quality in this cross, can make all the difference, get them back into it.
8 around the penalty area for Queen's Park. In from Thomas towards the back post, and it's too close to Liam Kelly, and he'll take that gratefully as 4 minutes is signalled in red on the board by the fourth official. Kelly will look at it quickly. O'Donnell, the most advanced, on the edge of the final third. He'll play the cool pass back to Payton. Motherwell look to keep possession. Maguire forced away by 4 in red for Queen's Park. It's back to Kelly again. He'll look out wide to this near side. McGinley with the touch on the right foot, facing his own goal. Back to Blaney. Upfield it goes. Spittle with the touch. You have to chase it. Fox comes through the back of Blair Spittle, says the referee. And both sets of supporters unhappy with decisions from the referee, and a sarcastic applause from the Motherwell faithful as they have the free kick, and that will just start to wind down before additional minutes as Motherwell look to use their experience to hang on to this 1-goal lead against Championship Queen's Park and move on to 8 points at the top of the Group G table as they look to advance in the League Cup. O'Donnell takes it far side. We just roll it along the touchline and aim for that Top corner flag to our left. Thomas and Robson there trying to dig in to win the ball. It sticks to O'Donnell. He plays it off. Well, look to play off the Queen's Park double act, but the assistant judges Stephen O'Donnell had the final touch, and Queen's Park will now throw everyone forward for the goal kick. 2017-18 season, Motherwell making it to the final of the League Cup, losing 2-0 to Celtic at Hampden. Are they set for another run this year? McLeish will chase. Blaney back towards his own goal, and he had to be strong with that header. He was under pressure from the young Queen's Park forward, and he rose superbly to get power in those neck muscles and guide it all the way back to Liam Kelly. Additional time, just a couple of minutes to go. Motherwell 1, Queen's Park 0.
And I think if you look back at this game, sorry Stephen, you know, the chances that Thomas has had from free kicks in great areas, and he's been so wasteful, you know, and he's had a good game, you know, in general play, but free kicks, you know, at any level, it's so important, and he's been so wasteful, and those opportunities, you know, could have led to a goal, but to pass them up, you know, I don't know. I mean, I was looking down at the bench, and you know, even as a player, I would be doing my nothing, you know, because it's, you know, a chance just to put into an area, let players go and attack it. 2 he's overhit, and 1 he was trying to be too clever with, and at this level, you want to win games of football, you know, that's got to be a whole lot better than what he showed this afternoon.
Ball out of play, Motherwell have the throw. McGinley will take, aims for Slattery. Fox comes in, Motherwell playing for a free kick, but Fox is allowed to continue. The referee Steve McLean says no. Queen's Park take on Elgin City on Tuesday, finishing off the Queen of the South on Saturday, but this game isn't finished. They still go and search for an equaliser. Motherwell searching for a free kick, they won't get it. Queen's Park moving forward. Certainly a promising season in store if this showing is to go by from Robin Veldman's side, who took over from Owen Coyle last season. Longridge fakes the cross, knocks it forward, can't get past Shane Blaney, who stands on the edge of the area. Thomas will have to retrieve deep in the Motherwell half. As time remain, charged down by Payton. Queen's Park have the throw. Motherwell take on Queen's Park today. They'll finish off against East Fife next Saturday. Fox has it, receives from the throw, looks long towards the penalty area. Motherwell header from O'Donnell. Casey comes out, held up by Spittle. Slattery will advance, 2 ahead. The man on the right is Payton. Slattery sees the goalkeeper off his line, and that one will go well wide. As Callum Ferry didn't look troubled, and it will just let that clock tick by some more seconds. Stuart Kettlewell looks on at the edge of the area before hearing the full-time whistle from Stephen McLean, and he'll shake the hand of the 4th official. A 1-0 win for Motherwell against Queen's Park. Positive signs for Robin Veldman's side, but he'll be frustrated. Again, there was chances in this game against Premiership opposition, but they couldn't take them. Stuart Kettlewell will wonder how there was only 1 goal next to Motherwell's name in this one. Obika had a glorious chance after just 25 minutes, found himself all alone in the 6-yard area, but somehow guided the ball wide of the post when it looked easier to score. He did get on the score sheet though around the half-hour mark. A lovely move from Motherwell, some slick play into the penalty area, struck towards goal. It took a deflection into the back of the net, but Obika didn't care, and he added to his goal scored earlier in the competition against Elgin. Slattery hit the crossbar in the first half. 1-0 it was at half-time, and 1-0 it remained at full-time, despite penalty shouts, a couple from Queen's Park, and they struck the crossbar too from a corner. And Barry Hepburn, well, he thought he had an opportunity at the back post, but Stephen O'Donnell somehow managed to hook the ball away. And 1-0 was the scoreline at the end of the game, and you could just see Robin Veldman, the Queen's Park players, go to applaud the supporters that follow them. They'll be very, very positive from that performance, but Motherwell strengthen their grip at the top of Group G. They move on to 8 points. It finishes at Fir Park in the late kick-off this Saturday. Motherwell 1, Queen's Park 0.
The Scottish League Cup.
This is the chance they've been waiting for. Cross-court comes must be ahead.
Live on Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
Yeah, Sports Sound with me, Liam McLeod, into the final 20 odd minutes of the programme. Thank you for sticking with us. And for that commentary from Fir Park, as Motherwell racked up another victory in League Cup Group G. As Stuart was saying, they are top of that group and they've strengthened their position. They're on to 8 points. They have played the 3 games. East Fife are sitting on 5 points. They are 3 behind Motherwell. Queen of the South, they're on 4 points, with Queen's Park and Elgin City on 1 and 0 respectively. Queen of the South with an important win earlier today as well, having drawn with Motherwell during the week. So that's the state of play in Group E. Earlier on, Airdrieonians made it 2 wins from 2 with a home win over Premiership New Boys Dundee. Josh Ray saving a penalty from Lyle Cameron before the Airdrieonians player manager Rhys McCabe converted a late penalty. League One Hamilton were really close to upsetting Premiership Livingston. Bruce Anderson scored a very late equaliser for Livy, though Accies did win the bonus point in the penalty shootout. Ross County came from 1-0 down at home to Morton to win 2-1, while St Johnstone and St Mirren both scored 4 goals away from home to Alloa and Arbroath respectively, with Kilmarnock winning 2-0 at Dunfermline in our earlier commentary match. Full details of all today's League Cup action available at the website bbc.co.uk/sportscotland, and we will get some reaction perhaps from St Mirren and St Johnstone before we come off here at 7:30. Fingers crossed we get some reaction from Fir Park as well. Now back to the football. Stephen Craigan and Derek Ferguson were watching Motherwell beat Queen's Park by a goal to nil. I have to say it was a pretty entertaining game again. We've had a few of those today. We've had a few of those since League Cup started last weekend. Stephen, it was Motherwell who prevailed. John Obika's goal enough in the first half. Real touch of fortune about it. But there's a couple of occasions where they hit the woodwork. There were a couple of really good passages of play. Queen's Park had their chances as well, though.
Yeah, I think Motherwell made hard work of it. We spoke at half-time about, talking the chances they created, the opportunities they had. Stuart Kettlewell spoke after Tuesday night's game down at Queen of the South, and he said he wants his players to be more ruthless in both boxes. Well, I think certainly in the attacking sense they weren't ruthless enough, because they really should have put the game to bed. And then the longer the game went, Queen's Park started to grow in belief that they actually could get something from the game, because they hadn't been put to bed. The first 75 minutes was controlled and structured and composed from both sides, and then the last 15 minutes was chaos, whether it was substitutions or players giving up the ball easy. There was chances, there was opportunities, but it made it for a really good watch. So Stuart Kettlewell will be pleased with the result, but I think when he looks back at the second half performance, probably from about 60 minutes onwards, he'll be a little bit concerned that if they'd come up against possibly a better side, I would say, or a more clinical side, a more ruthless side, they could have been punished, and that was the game that they could have lost. So you're always looking for positives from games, but there's always negatives where you can go and work on, and Stuart talks about evidence and showing the players. Well, there's certainly enough to show them in the last half hour about how to manage a game and how to put a game to bed, because Queen's Park really grew into it. But going back to their game last weekend, I think Robin Veltman said that they were good on the eye, they had lots of possession, but they lacked that little bit of penetration at the top end of the pitch, that little bit of conviction, and I think that came back to bite them today again.
Yeah, they're going to struggle to go through, I think, by the looks of that. 2 games played, just the 1 point, so they're going to need maximum points and snookers, I think, to threaten top 2, and even then you wouldn't have thought a points tally of 7 would be enough to threaten the last 16. But Derek, for Motherwell, again, they're just they might not have been at their best tonight, but they're just continuing since Stuart Kettlewell took over. I think that's just 2 defeats in 17 games for him now. They've done the business. It's all about getting out of this group.
Absolutely. A clean sheet. I think that's first and foremost what he wanted. Yep. Except what Stephen's saying, they'd be looking for maybe 1 or 2 more goals at home. Certainly you're going up against a side that are playing in a league below you. I think Obika and Wilkinson, that's a work in progress. A little bit disappointed that Obika went off. Don't know if he had a niggle or just precautionary, a bit of tiredness creeping in, but I think I'd like to have seen the 2 of them stay on at least 70 minutes just to strike up that partnership, because they've got big boots to fill, in terms of Vin was sensational here, and what you look for is the two of them, either of them, you know, they're not in the same class as Van Veen. It's clear to see, but you know,
see, Van Veen was back at it again last night in Scotland. Derek scored for Groningen at Easter Road.
Yeah, I get slated a couple of years. I had done a thing with a team of the year, and I put Van Veen in it, and I get slaughtered for it. I could see, I like Van Veen. I thought he had a physicality, good football player, linked to play, but they'd done the most important thing of all, we put the ball in the back of the net, you know, in a team that didn't make many chances. Last season he was absolutely brilliant, but as I'm touching on Abika and Wilkinson, you know, the two of them, they need to get that understanding together, so I'd like to see them on a little bit longer. But the pluses for Motherwell was in the final third, certainly going towards half time, you know, their one touch football in and around the box was excellent. That change of pace, that allowed them to get the goal. I mean, the pass was absolutely brilliant from Slattery. You know, we were laughing about Slattery today. He picked up a number of bookings last year, you know,
the most booked player in the league.
He was clever, but today, you know, and they weren't nasty challenges, they were just little obstructions, little blocks, and just disrupted play. And I think it was clever because Queen's Park are a really good footballing side, you know, they're really pleasing on the eye, but they need to find something else in the final third. If you look at Motherwell, you know what they had, that change of pace, that one touch football and strikes at goal, that's where Queen's Park I think need to work on, certainly in the final third, in and around the box, that little one touch, that little kind of clever movement, you know, and that'll get them a goal, because that's a couple of games they've played. They dominated against East Fife, numerous chances, didn't score. They had a few chances today. But the thing that frustrated me, you know, and I was saying during commentary, and he's a good player, he had a good game today, Don Thomas. He's got 3 great opportunities to put the ball into the box from free kicks, and you know, set pieces, modern day football, it's massive, you know, and 2 of them he overhit, and one he was trying to be a little bit too clever, or something that's maybe been worked on in the training ground. But those chances, when you go up against a side like Motherwell, that's a step up, you could see that you've got to take those opportunities, and they didn't. But if they can kind of figure out a way in that final third, they're a good team to go and watch. You know, the Queen's Park fans, they'll enjoy going and watch them, but they'll enjoy even more if they can hit the back of the net and win a few games.
They are the only team in the League Cup groups to not score a goal as yet. So yeah, I mean, it's obviously an issue. I'm sure they'll be looking to rectify that. Robin Feldman's still got a good few weeks of the transfer window to get that problem solved. So it was a win for Motherwell earlier in that group. Queen of the South were 2-0 winners at Elgin City. Stuart Kettlewell, the Motherwell manager, has been waiting patiently as we listen to Stephen Robinson there. He's chatting with Stuart Mitchell live at Fir Park.
Thanks, Liam. Yes, he is joining me, Stuart Kettlewell, the Motherwell manager. Stuart, a win and a clean sheet. What did you make of the performance today?
Yeah, there was a lot of aspects to it. Again, I give a lot of credit to Queen's Park. I thought that they offered an awful lot to the game. We knew that they were going to play off that kind of possession-based game model, if you like, and I thought that we were slow in starting. I didn't feel that we pressed them properly. I didn't feel that we made any contact to turn the ball over, and equal to that, Stuart, I thought that we were pretty poor in possession for at least the first 20-25 minutes. I felt that there was a wee change in that. I felt that we took a step forward and started turning the ball over more, and we were better in possession, hence why, you know, John Obika gets the first chance with a header, he should score, and then he gets his goal. But it's good play for us at that stage. And then I thought we started the second half really well, and then again we took that backward step and probably allowed Queens just that forward momentum. So yeah, as I keep speaking about, we know where we are and what stage of the season it is, but what's vitally important to me is that we go and win the game, we get a clean sheet and we give ourselves a chance to go and win this group, which was ultimately the task that we set to the players before the competition started.
There is another look to the forward area with Kevin Van Veen leaving, but with the amount of chances that John Obika's had already in his first 3 games, he could be well towards that kind of goal tally. He should have probably had another one today and another one previously too. Hit the crossbar, I think it was, in Queen of the South on Tuesday. He's getting the chances, it's just about finishing them and being that clinical. Yeah,
listen, Big John, I spoke to him about it before the game started as well. It's so important that everybody's going to be talking about the narrative of Kevin Van Veen, but it's so important that someone else comes out of the shadows as well. It's so important that I get the opportunity opportunity to try and strengthen the forward area as well. You see young Mark Ferry coming on at 17 and replacing John. Listen, it's the case. I would be more concerned if we weren't creating those opportunities. You rightly say John had maybe 3-4 chances against Elgin. He had the same against Queen of the South, and he gets his goal today. Probably should have scored the one just before it as well. But I think what concerns me is when strikers take a step back and they don't go back into the area. And Big John's not that guy. We know about his personality, how good he is to have about the place, and he'll know he should score some of these chances. But I'm glad that he's hit the back of the net a couple of times, because it's a real confidence booster for him as well.
And Nathan McGinley coming back today as well, which is really important for the club too, and a big moment for the fans to see. But also you're building on that momentum from last season, carrying on to this season. Some of the players have spoke about how important that is from the previous season carrying over to another season. And you've said right before that you're going to treat this competition with the seriousness it deserves. It's a League Cup, and there's an opportunity to go on another run, just like a few years ago for these Motherwell fans.
Yeah, it's finding a balance again, Stuart, because we have a 16-year-old again playing in Middle Park today. We bring on a 17-year-old in the forward area, but in amongst all of that, there's been some guys that maybe haven't been able to contribute. Nathan, you refer to, delighted to see him getting back on the park today, because I think we all just reference football all the time, and it's been such a tough 16, nearly 17 months for Nathan, been out the game completely, but since he's come back and he's got on the pitch, you know, he's just been full of optimism. He's been so positive, he's been so receptive to what we're asking of him, and I think the one thing that the Motherwell fans will know, that Nathan McGinley's a good player. We just need to get him fully up to speed, but he certainly has my trust, and I think there's always these kind of goodwill stories which can sometimes come out of pre-season, and for me Nathan McGinley's definitely one of them, because it was a bleak looking situation for quite a while, but certainly to me, touchwood, he's come out the other side of that, and hopefully can kick on from here.
Happier just to tidying things up from Tuesday night. It's only the goal scored today, but that clean sheet is something that's going to be really important in the season ahead for Motherwell too.
Absolutely, yeah. I think, no disrespect to Queen of the South, but we now played against a championship side, and a championship side that you would think will be at the top end of that. So we know that they were going to pose a threat. I just felt that our organisation behind the ball when we were committing to attacks was far better today. That was something that we looked at, and we felt probably even Elgin and Queen of the South that can be a little bit better. And it's kind of been a platform, Stuart, of what we've built, the wee bit of success, this short period of success where we've won plenty of games and we've picked up plenty of points. It's kind of been built on that defensive unit, but that security gives you the opportunity to commit to those attacks, and I felt that was better today, albeit that I felt we could have carved out more clear-cut opportunities.
Thanks for your time, Stuart. Well done today.
Thanks again. Cheers, mate.
The Stewarts, Mitchell and Kettlewell, pitch side at Fir Park. Unfortunately, we're just about out of time, so I won't be able to get any more reaction from Stephen and Derek, but thank you, boys, for your stellar performances at Fir Park. Motherwell beating Queen's Park in the later kick-off there, as we wrapped up today's coverage of the 23-24 League Cup group stage. We've got more matches in midweek and next weekend, and then full focus will be on the start of league business. Tuesday night, St Johnstone Ayr United, that's a huge match. Falkirk Dundee United. Then on Wednesday we're on again with Kilmarnock against Raith Rovers, Peterhead Spartans, Edinburgh against Ross County, and Dundee Dumbarton. Sports Sound back with you tomorrow from 2 o'clock after Off the Ball on Sunday evening, and all that's left really is to wish you a very nice Saturday evening, and your Saturday evening begins now, because it's Take the Floor time here in BBC Radio Scotland.